Should be. Anyway.
Excellent.
Let's see. All right. Yep. Okay. Prisma's on.
Let's go.
Is audio
What's up?
working? I have it on 60-second delay, so actually it might be a second before. Let me just text on the Discord, make sure audio is working before. We'll see. We shall see. I always give it like a second or two to like get set up.
Makes sense.
Prisma's always first. Almost always.
I wonder how accurate the number of viewers is.
All right, Eric's on too. So Eric, okay, audio's working. So Eric is actually my contact who knows where to get Calisogas.
Oh, sweet. Excellent.
Sweet. So Eric's a big fan. He's a cool guy.
Very nice.
One of my mods, actually both these guys are mods in my Discord now because they're huge parts of the community. So I have the Wildlife Brothers with me today.
What's up?
I'm not at home. I'm in Pennsylvania. We're actually going to be doing some production here. But only for him, he says, for the Calisogas. Gliss is in. Screw everyone else. So today we're talking Australia. We're going to let some more people get in real quick. And a couple other announcements and stuff. New things for the channel, some new procedures, stuff like that. Yeah, the blue ones. Because we were talking on Discord, he's like, yeah, there's these big blue spiders. I'm like, I bet that's Calisoga. I bet that's freaking Calisoga. And sure enough, it was Calisoga. Hey, Travis is on.
Yo, what's up, Travis? How's it going, Travis?
He says he wants to say hi.
Greetings.
Hello there.
Hello there. Pennsylvania, says Prisma. Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it.
Well, considering I'll have an easier time finding hognose snakes here than in North Carolina. It is, fortunately. So yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania for a couple days, New Jersey a couple days. Like it's kind of a quick little rocket run, and we're looking for hognose snakes, horseshoe crabs. There's the off chance at sea spiders, but thankfully Prisma also knows where to get those in North Carolina, so I might get them down there. And then basically whatever else we can kind of get. I needed a very low stakes trip after some of the trips I've been on. Those of you in the Discord know that I've kind of not done so well on trips this year.
Got a Canadian flag in the chat.
Yep. Peter Elliott from Canada. Hello from the US. I almost said hello from Canada. We're not in Canada. But yeah, so today I want to do some announcements. Yeah, Prisma's a fan of you guys too.
Oh, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
So some of you guys know that we didn't upload a video today. And one of the reasons for that, I made a couple of community posts about it. I might actually do some live streams instead of posts. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do that yet. We'll see. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of take a step back a little bit to kind of grow the concepts of the videos. And also because of lack of productive trips this year, I don't have a lot of non-filler things to release, and I would rather give you my best, just less frequently, than try to scrounge something that's subpar together and keep the weekly posting. I don't know if we'll go back to weekly soon or not. I mean, if Australia is just like insane, then maybe, but that's to be determined, because I'm noticing I really like letting the videos marinate. And even if I have the volume, I don't know if I want to just crank them out all the time. So for now, we're going to go to 2 a month. I want to be very clear. It's going to be the first and third Saturday. So the next video coming out is not going to be next week. It's going to be September 7th. So it'll be a two-week break between most months. That will be every other week. But because August is weird, we're going to have 2 videos this month, but 3 weeks that are actually off. But that'll help me make sure that I can deliver the best quality and kind of let the concepts just get a little bit bigger. I'm kind of tired of the videos being under 10 minutes. I know I've seen the comments. People are wanting longer stuff, cooler stuff. and I want to be able to deliver that. And the way that will work will be decreasing upload frequency for now. Once I have some more manpower, once I have some more content in the backlog, we can see about going back to weekly.
It's me. I'm the manpower.
Maybe.
Hopefully
Maybe.
one day. The other thing that it's funny, this is not our stream, so I won't pirate this talking point, but Evan and I are also doing bi-weekly at the moment.
Mhm.
And one of the nicer changes with that upload schedule is we can go out and film during the week again, which it's kind of surprising that when we do this for a living, we're editing so much that we're actually not in the field all that often when the concepts are really big and they take a lot of time and energy to produce. So having that extra bandwidth, like we just hit the woods like an hour ago.
We just came back from the woods. We're streaming for a little bit because I want to just kind of do some announcements, get a little hangout since you guys didn't get to see a video today. And then we're going to be basically going back out to actually film probably false widows.
Yeah.
And we have 2 species of false widow here. So we'll kind of figure out kind of cool concepts and come up with that. Yeah, these guys are twins. These are buddies.
Did someone ask about that?
Yep. It was Choosy said those 2 people look the same. Yeah,
it's almost like they're twins.
It's almost like they're twins. Yeah,
something like that.
Almost like brothers or even twins or something. Dinopone.
You can tell because Evan is in the green shirt and Harrison is in the green shirt.
That's right.
So those of you who watched the Ecuador videos might recognize these guys. They're the Wildlife Brothers. I'm actually staying with them for a few days while we get some videos here in Pennsylvania, looking for some cool reptiles and maybe a woodlouse hunting spider if we can find one. We're going to shoot some false widows tonight as well.
Some people from Australia.
Yeah, from the Aussie Stormtrooper.
Excellent. So we're getting to Australia in just a second. I have a few more announcements to wrap up. We're going to be heading to the salt marshes. I'm hoping to get horseshoe crabs, sea spiders, some really crazy marine life. People have been wanting to see marine life for years. I've wanted to film marine life for years. And I figured, you know what? This is a great time to go up and get that. And then I'll be these guys next month in Florida for another big target that people have been wanting to see for a very long time. Our main target is the Eastern Diamondback, which has been kind of a white whale for me. We have probably the best leads we could ever have on that snake. I don't want to jinx it here, but who knows? Maybe I'll finally clean that one up.
Yeah, we'll be going hard for it
Yep.
in Florida. That's definitely, I think, the highest priority maybe for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a comment come in. I love to get Spencer over his lack of season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Brown
in our
Recluse video.
Brown Recluse video recently.
We all have good fun here.
Yep.
Yes, Prisma's EDB are stupid hard. They are stupid hard to find. They need to be on the endangered species list. Stupid advertisements.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Christmas Island isn't a fun place. I don't know. I would have a lot of fun at Christmas Island, actually.
We'd find some cool stuff.
You know what happens there, right? The giant red crab migration.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. I didn't know. I've heard of it. I didn't realize. I didn't make the connection.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing where I tend to hyper focus on the regions that I'm going to travel soon, but everywhere else I kind of just forget that it exists. So I can kind of make sure I know what I'm talking about and all that. So I'm like, I know this. I know Christmas Island's a thing. What's there? But yeah, so Australia, it's gonna be really big, and this is another reason why I'm going twice a month instead of weekly. I have to do a lot of prep for Australia. This is going to be the biggest trip, the longest trip I've ever taken, and we're working on some crazy stuff down there. So we have currently 3 weeks where I'm going to be down there. I'm bringing my brother and another familiar face, Jack, from Jack's World of Wildlife. In fact, if you don't know Jack, please go to his channel and say thank you and check him out, because he's been having YouTube's been really messing with him this year. And this whole Australia trip would not be possible without Jack. I am networking with his contacts. We are using his expertise with snakes and stuff in the field. And every single spot that we have is courtesy of Jack helping out on this trip. So would not be possible if it weren't for him. So make sure to thank him for making it possible.
And good shout from Eric there about a wild Jackson appearing in Australia.
We are planning to meet up with Jackson from Bugs and Biology. That's been a long time coming, man. He's a cool guy. I wonder if I don't know what time it is there. He might be able to make it on the stream. We'll
It
see.
is. I should know this actually. The time in
Is it
Australia right now.
15 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Cheers. Take care, Peter Elliott. Has
Later,
to step
Peter.
away.
But yeah, so he might be able to help me with a couple of concepts that I'm working on.
It's the morning, almost 7 a.m. in Eastern Australia.
He might be awake.
Well, we could
We'll see.
maybe
We'll
shoot
see.
him
We
a
can,
text,
we can bug him.
And biology him.
The camper and the lagger. Yo, what's up, man? Whitetail bite incoming. Honestly, yeah, I'd take a whitetail bite. I'd take a whitetail bite. It's like the hobo spider. It's one of those spiders that like it has this horrible reputation, but all of the science, all like they I think they did a study. They had like 100 people take bites from whitetails in the lab.
Really?
None of them had any necrosis.
They had people take bites?
It was,
I would love to read that.
Yes.
study.
I would love to read.
I don't remember it was Jackson or Jack who told me about that.
Huh.
It might have been both.
I would love to read the description that they wrote to their ethics committee before doing that study.
I don't know, man. Mark Gato says, Redback, I will not be taking a bite from a redback, but I hope to film them. I'm not sure what the concept will be yet. I've noticed that widows, people aren't liking the regular looking widows. They like the weird ones like Red Widow.
Right.
If I get a white widow at some point, that would be cool.
Lichen Huntsman, good shout.
Yes, Lichen Huntsman is definitely on the list. The biggest thing is we're trying to suss out what's not. So we're going to be mostly in New South Wales for the majority of the trip. There is another section of the trip. It's kind of a secret. We're going to be doing a proper outback run for 5 to 6 days. I actually hired a guide. Conveniently enough, it's one of the guides who actually takes Brave Wilderness out when they're in Australia. So these guys are legit. That section of the trip is going to be probably one of the craziest. And if we can pull off our target down there, it's going to be, in my opinion, the best video that will ever be on this channel, at least before I get other stuff after Australia. But that's going to be crazy. Maybe I don't even want to give the state that we're going to be in because I don't want to spoil what we're looking for. It's gonna be pretty crazy if we can get it.
A white widow living outside. The white widow would be cool. We got to get to South Africa for that one.
Mm-hmm. They're invasive there, right? That's probably the safest country that you can find them in right now.
Where's their native range?
I want to say Middle East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking like
Northern
North
Africa, Middle East, and then through parts of Western Asia.
Yep. Ichthyo Editor.
Okay.
We are indeed live. We are indeed live. Hey! I like to tease. I'll let you guys know that something big is coming. Something big is coming from Australia. The main target though is the Sydney funnel web. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying. People have been requesting that for years. That is going to be a classic web weaver, not a widow. Oops. But yeah, Sydney funnel web is the biggest target for Australia. Jackson is probably going to help a lot with that. He has worked with a lot of the Atracidae before, so I want to kind of defer to his expertise in the field with those spiders. They are no joke. They are no joke. So getting an accident with that one, that's not just a trip ender, that could be a career ender. So we want to, take all precautions with that spider. Eric says need to plug the Discord. Yes, if you're not already in the Discord, people have been asking about it in the comments, and I usually will reply on a case-by-case basis, like with the link. But I have the link in the description of the stream. If you are interested in joining the Discord and hanging out, we got a whole cool crew over there. Lots of awesome people. We hang out, we nerd out about wildlife, but also Star Wars and other nerd culture things. Just hang out, talk philosophy. I share updates on trips I'm on. So you'll probably see photos from the trip that I'm on right now. You'll see if we catch any of the cool stuff that we're after.
Updates the iceberg with Sydney funnel web.
Yep.
A very good inclusion.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if handling the funnel web will be possible. We'll see if I can actually free handle it or not.
Would you handle a redback?
Oh yeah, redback. Mm-hmm. What's crazy is Jackson was telling me he feels more confident handling funnel web spiders than widows. So
That's
I
wild.
really want to kind of like work with him closely when I'm down there to see if we can handle Atrax robustus and see if it's possible without taking a bite, of course. Because it's one of those ones I'd be lying if I said that the funnel webs didn't give me pause, because that's a gnarly bite and they're very defensive. But I'd also be lying if I said I didn't want to try. So we're gonna play that very much by ear. I don't know what that will look like. We'll see. We should be able to find one. The question is, I don't know if it's going to be a handleable spider, but redbacks will be pretty cool. Potentially one of the more dangerous widow spiders. I've seen a lot of debate. Like I've seen a lot of inconsistent research on which one is worse and all that. So I don't know. I don't know how bad they actually are. I'm gonna do a lot of research beforehand. Like basically, my day to day, it's like I'm either editing, filming, or I am reading up on all the wildlife for different areas. So I have like a bunch of resources that I have yet to read through that will kind of break down a lot of the crazy stuff that we're after. I mean, I want to get one of those giant like Acrophylla walking sticks the size of my forearm. And for those of you who are relatively new to the channel, I see the comments like, "Oh, that's not a big spider." I think it's. Do you have a basketball here?
Not on
Okay.
hand.
Well, it in terms of like scale, I just want to like point out I can palm a regulation sized basketball, so all spiders look small in my hands. And
Fair.
like I'm 6'4", so like but there's these walking sticks the size of my forearm, and I'm huge. So like that would be one says maybe reconsider your pursuit of the funnel web. There is so much more to explore anyway. I mean, funnel web is one I've wanted to see for years. Like that's not just for like views. It's not just for like it's for me. I'm personally curious if it's possible to hold a funnel web. But I want to get like there's these things called wraparound spiders. I don't think we're going to be in range of pelican spiders. If we are, I definitely want to catch them, but I don't know if they're going to be doable because them and Portia seem to all be in like the tropical north of Australia, and they don't get super close to where we're going to be.
Do you have insect targets?
Oh yeah, there's this one mantis called a hooded horror, which looks really crazy. There is, I mean, again, the huge walking stick, bunch of different orthopterans that look super cool. Is it the raspy bulldog cricket or something?
Yeah.
One of our contacts down there, he's actually on YouTube. He's Jesse's Wildlife, and he is a fantastic snake hunter in Australia. The dude handles eastern brown snakes like they are puppy dogs. Really, really crazy handler, and yet he is not the fondest of orthopterans. So that'll be funny. He handles deadly snakes, but grasshoppers scare him.
That is actually hilarious.
That would be a funny thing to have in a video, I think. Let's see. Yes, pelican spiders are indeed a thing. Look them up. They don't look like spiders.
No, not at all.
They are weird. They're so weird. Let's see who else. Portia. Yeah, Portia is a cool spider. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to them this time around.
Those are peacock or paradise jumpers?
No, Portia they're these super lichen. They look kind of like a lichen jumping spider, but they've been basically classified as the most intelligent arthropod in the world.
Right.
So,
arthropod,
yeah. So they are like insane, like super smart spiders. I hope to film one day. It probably won't be on this trip. I mean, we could maybe do some pivots here and there. Like I've seen some comments, are coastal taipans possible? They're a little bit out of range of where we're going to be. But again, if we do amazing in all the other parts of the trip, we might make like let's go to Queensland for a day and try for coastal ties. I don't know. It's kind of flexible. We are there for 3 weeks, but again, 3 weeks goes by really quick when everything is brand new. So don't know yet.
Always good to have your stretch goals, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some for this trip. We're going to try and get Spencer up to the Pine Barrens if we clean up in the salt marsh over the next few days. Do you want to discuss targets for this trip? I know you mentioned it briefly, but
so this is like a big announcement stream. We're just kind of hanging out. Once more people join too, we'll see some more questions.
Solve, track things
Yeah.
in 3D space. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Porsche, they're nuts. Yeah,
Very
Eric was saying in a previous comment, you guys should read Children of Time. It's a sci-fi book. You will very much like that book.
Okay.
You will
Duly noted.
When I learn to read, I will definitely check it out.
When you learn to read. But yeah, so this trip is a very short little rocket run. I was actually helping my girlfriend move in, getting ready for school. But we're up here and we're tomorrow going for hog noses. Oh, a weird leg deformity. Share that to the Discord. I want to take a look at that if you have a picture. That would be interesting to see. So Mark Gato, what's it about? So Children of Time is a science fiction. There is a series. It's like the first one is Children of Time. I forget the titles of the second and third ones, but they basically have these like planets that were like terraformed by people, and something went wrong. So the spiders became super intelligent instead of the apes. That's about.
Oh, that's cool.
That's about children. Okay.
Oh, it's a trilogy.
It's a trilogy, and it's super interesting. All I can say is it goes by very fast when you're reading it. I highly recommend. Someone else asked something else. I missed it though. Oh, Jack is super worried about big katydids, but is fine around venomous snakes.
That dragon katydid down in Southeast Asia kind of messed them up.
The big crazy katydids are scary looking, and they can be a little bite happy. And let's be honest, the mechanical damage is sometimes scarier than venom. I don't know if I would free one of those either.
One of the giant ones, because we found a spiny devil katydid in the cloud forest before you arrived, and then I don't think we ever got one again while you were here.
No, I really wanted to get one.
I really regret not getting a firmer hand on that guy, because it's in one of our videos. We catch it and we're about to start the segment and then it flew away.
Yep.
One of the things, I don't know if there are many people in your community who are keepers of invertebrates. Evan and I are not ourselves, but when you keep tropical katydids or mantises and things like that, especially in like North America or Europe, where the humidity in the air is so much lower, you sometimes forget that they can fly really well. But when you go down to like Australia or Ecuador, where we were in South America, mantises or giant katydids will just fly away without warning.
Yep.
And like, obviously most of those species around the world can do it, but it's just so unexpected at times.
So Corey says, cheers from Pennsylvania. I'm actually in Pennsylvania today.
Yeah, that's where we are right now.
And then King Charles says, WTF, there are twins. Yes, these guys are good friends of mine. If you haven't seen the videos from Ecuador, you might recognize them. These guys are the Wildlife Brothers. Got I'm mirrored. Well, I'm mirrored here, so I'm like confused. Harrison here, Evan here. But yeah, they're good friends of mine. We go way back, like to the start of the channel.
This is getting out of hand.
Now there are two of them.
I think Eric is right. One of us is AI. By the end of the stream, you have to tell which one is AI generated.
Which one is AI generated? We're playing with all the special effects today.
I love my wild backyard.
We never should have made this bargain.
We could probably find Newt Gunray. I'm also mirrored. That stuff back there, I can't point at things. That's our small, definitely under control Lego collection. Gotta have hobbies outside of the
and
passion.
that alone earned my subscription. This is what you get in the Discord. This is what you get in the Discord. So
I really need to pop into the Discord more. It's such a shame that like I'm actually reading it more often than I respond to anything, but it's a really awesome community, especially being on kind of the peripheral.
Your
like
mom
periphery, but
is
the outside.
wait, is that your mom is Al or your mom is AI?
Probably AI, I would think.
I mean, someone's mom could
All
be
right,
named Al.
I'll
Yes,
indulge.
Spencer's head is blocking the Star
Yeah.
Wars shelf, but
Yeah, my
basically
big head.
this whole shelf is Star Wars. So we have like the Ewok village.
Oh,
and
if you have a
like-
cup, they usually ask me to do the General Grievous impression at some point.
Okay.
You haven't
Yeah.
heard my General Grievous, have you?
I've heard it,
it
maybe not
couple
live,
times.
but yeah, we got the Millennium Falcon, a classic, not the big one, but this is one of the ones.
Yeah, Corey. So Corey, actually, who just commented, said they were from Pennsylvania. Love the
General
interactions
Grievous.
when people comment on the videos. Greatly appreciated. Honestly, like that's the biggest part of YouTube that I like. Like I've
Oh yeah.
some of you might not know, I've been doing YouTube to some degree since like 2011, I think. I mean, 2009, helping my friends who had video cameras. But like, I love how unique of a platform it is, where you can do super crazy content and also interact with the viewers. It's just, it's such a weird, I mean, it is parasocial, but it's also super crazy, super fun. I've always been just kind of drawn to doing this kind of thing.
Definitely. It is actually.
Oh yeah, if you haven't heard Spencinerator moment, that's what my old gaming channel was called, Spencinerator. Maybe if we hit 1 million subscribers, I might do a montage of like old videos, like even ones that I guarantee you will not be able to find. There are videos, you might have seen them, that you will not be able to find even if you look for them, but they exist, and they're probably some of the first videos that I released to the internet that are still up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Someone said something that intrigued me. Oh, it was Prisma. Have you seen the emote of you in the server? No.
Yeah.
There's
There's emotes for both of you guys.
Really?
Oh,
I did not know that.
Yeah, there is.
I knew about one because I happened to be checking the Discord that day and then recognized it was my reaction from one of the videos of yours we were in. I forget.
I think it was the one where I want to say it was the Amblipigid in Ecuador, because you had like this kind of face.
Oh
and-
yeah. So we did. It was you and me in our Amplipigid segment. I can't remember. Oh, I guess the first one was you and Evan because
Yeah.
I was filming.
I think you guys
by
were
that stream.
both. I think the emotes are both from that video. Prisma might.
Oh, that's.
I
funny.
feel like Prisma knows my videos.
I have to
better
check the
than I do
Discord now. I have
sometimes.
not seen these.
Yeah, Prisma is the emoji god of the Discord.
Corey said, "Link me the Discord." Is it in the link
Oh,
for
From
this?
a Wildlife
oh,
Brothers
shit.
video where a frog got away. There are a good few of those.
Yes, we are close to 200K.
Very.
Very.
Mhm.
20, I think less than 28,000 to go. So end of the year. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
great.
funny.
There's one for Mikey. That looks like me also.
And one for Mikey. But just look at the Prisma. Share the pyramid, or not the pyramid, the iceberg. On my brain. Share the iceberg so they can see. If you're not in the Discord, guys,
This is such an our face moment.
that's so
Oh,
funny.
that's awesome.
Didn't expect them to look at that. Oh man, yeah. Is it buffering? Oh no.
I bet I could hit.
It's probably it'll
No.
probably catch up. Yeah, we've been having Wi-Fi issues, so I was a little late starting the stream
Mhm.
because again I'm not home right now. I'm
We can disconnect some of our
You're in
devices
the-
if we need.
You're in the rugged wild of our basement.
the rugged wild. Yeah, I'm not in my wild backyard. I am in their wild
Yeah,
backyard.
there is
28
a cellar spider that lives in the Lego collection, like
Mm-hmm.
back in the corner. I bet we could find it.
Yeah, we just the wild basement.
Yeah, the
exactly.
The wild basement.
Yeah, that-
YTL, there are only 28 people watching. Yeah, I mean it's a weird time.
Mm.
I usually stream at night, but I wanted to kind of do an afternoon stream this time because again we're literally on production. So we were out flipping for woodlouse spiders up until like maybe 30 minutes before the stream, and then we were kind of fighting Wi-Fi issues before we were able to go live. And then after we finish the stream, we're gonna eat dinner real quick and then basically go right back out to film False Widows, look for woodlouse spiders some more, and then probably early night because we're gonna be out like 5:30 tomorrow to
Mhm.
get to the hognose spot.
two great questions just came in.
Let's see.
First from King Charizard. Do you watch sports or like sports, or do you just go out on adventures and travel? What are other things you like to do for fun?
Oh,
I can answer that question visually. If you turn the laptop this way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess there's not a lot of space.
So Evan and I do parkour and free running as our primary like physical activities and sports and stuff. So yeah, we do like flips and jump off of buildings and stuff like that.
And then if you read my shirt, I run. Well, sometimes. Right now I'm out of shape, but I also occasionally watch pro running and like the Olympics and stuff. So
And the two AI boys get put back in the computer.
That's what we do for fun.
AI boys. Is that Jack in disguise?
It's probably Gage in disguise. Woodless spiders all over the place here in my part of Pennsylvania. They get into my basement a lot. Yeah, we have actually very similar experience.
Mhm.
We'll get them in any pieces of cover right by the house. And it seems that oftentimes in our wood piles is a good spot, but rocks too. We flip a lot under rocks in some of our local
Mhm.
parks. So time permitting, we'll pop out somewhere today and see if we can
Yeah.
flip a couple. Depends
To,
on how False Widow shooting goes.
To answer all as well, do you just like to go out on adventures and travel? What are the other things you like to do for fun? I play a little bit of video games here and there. Watch a lot of Star Wars. We all watch a lot of Star Wars. Occasionally hikes, just for like not to even film. Like just cameras off, just out poking around, seeing what I see. Less so like an adventure like for filming, just to go see what's out, moving around.
Leave it to the French to make a sport out of running away. Eric knows what's up. And then the other question, each of you amphibians or reptiles?
Amphibians.
Reptiles.
Like it's a hard one, but
That's a really tough
my
one.
knee jerk is amphibians, just because like salamanders. And
Yeah.
some of them are just so weird.
Valid.
I mean, it's hard to say because like amphibians, the golden arrow frog is way deadlier than any reptile ever. So if I was going to rank things based on deadliest, because I love deadly things, I have a problem. But like that's way deadlier than even like your deadliest snakes. So amphibians win there. Amphibians tend to be a bit more secretive, I think. I've always just like found like salamanders to be super captivating because they're under like rocks and stuff. And they're just so like, I don't know, they're slinking around and like, they're kind of shady. And there's something about that I'm like, oh, that's a cool animal.
It does kind of fall in nicely with the secret world idea, because they're right among us so often, especially here in the Eastern United States. We have the highest salamander species diversity anywhere in the world. And in fact, if you are looking at woods in like the mid-Atlantic region, like where we're from, do you know what the animal that contributes the most biomass, the vertebrate that contributes the most biomass to Eastern United States forests is, where they occur?
Isn't it the redback salamander?
It is. It's the Eastern redback salamander. So the combined weight of all of the redback salamanders in a patch of woods where they occur is oftentimes greater than the biomass of all the mammals that live there combined. All the deer, all the squirrels, all the coyotes or bobcats that pass through.
I think
salamanders
which is
outweigh
crazy.
them.
You'll see how
I think it was you
ridiculous
who
the
taught
deer
me that.
population is here. It's hard to imagine that little salamanders that maybe get like 3 to 4 inches long,
If that.
usually, if that, still outweigh the ridiculously explosive population of deer we have in this area. You'll see when we go out tonight. You can't escape them.
They're giving me flack for, hey, listen, this is a comfy, my girlfriend was giving me flack for it this afternoon at lunch. It's a comfy shirt. I've had it for a long time. It's like the Nike shirts too. I get a lot of flack in the comments. Oh, I'm like, half of these Nike shirts that I've had for like 10 years.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's better here than a landfill.
Like an 8-year-old shirt.
This one,
this one
probably.
certainly is. I don't know that it's that old.
Kohl's Cash, boys.
Kohl's,
No,
yeah,
okay.
all from Kohl's.
I mean, actually not about Kohl's, but yeah, no, I think my snap reaction being reptiles comes down to, I really enjoy the overwhelming diversity of survival strategies that reptiles have. Literally every habitat you can imagine, even the ocean. You have turtle, snakes, and lizards, and crocodilians, actually. So no one throw tuataras in the ocean for many reasons, but almost all reptiles can live virtually anywhere, which I find fascinating. And they're also just one of our favorites to actually go out and target.
Oh, Ichthyovenator says I might change mine to reptiles because of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
True. That's true.
So then you got to throw
those-
birds in there.
Yeah.
Some of those prehistoric amphibians were scary though. Like, there were some crazy prehistoric amphibians. I don't know the names of any of them. Jackson and probably Ichthyovenator.
Jackson Woods.
But
I mean, like, this isn't, I wouldn't say a scary amphibian necessarily, but it is the one that we can blame for us all having taxes. Tiktaalik, the first or one of the first tetrapods, mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians that emerged from the ocean. It was kind of like one of the missing links between fish and amphibians. So next time you need someone to blame for inflation, Tiktaalik.
YTL says, what if the computer breaks and they start glitching?
That would be unfortunate. Koolasuchus is ridiculous. Yes, it is. Diplodocus, literally a boomerang.
Soul says, what are your opinions on cassowaries? Those things are okay. So actually, fun fact about cassowaries. I'm not a big bird guy, as they know, and as some of the Discord denizens know. I'm like, it's not that I'm gonna be very clear. For the record, I don't think birds are boring. I just don't. Most of them are not as weird as, say, amphibians or non-avian reptiles or invertebrates. And I've always been drawn to the really weird stuff, like the really, really alien looking stuff. But the nice thing about cassowaries is they're really freaking alien looking. So I actually do love cassowaries. I don't think we're going to be in range of them on this trip.
You're far south.
You would need to go up to some of the forests in the north.
Yes.
Wait, aren't you going to? You're not going to Cairns, are you?
Where is Cairns?
Mid east coast of Australia. Like it's.
Oh yeah. I don't.
It's above. It's in Queensland.
Mm-mm.
It's often touted as the gateway to the Barrier Reef.
Okay, I don't know if we're gonna make it to Queensland. Is the thing. It's
Birds of Paradise are weird.
Yes, they are weird. In fact, I want to go film them specifically for if I ever get any Habernatus jumpers, because Habernatus, these really crazy looking jumping spiders we have here in the US, are called paradise jumping spiders because their insane little mating displays reminded scientists of the mating displays of birds of paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to actually film birds of paradise for an eventual Habernatus jumping spider video.
Does any bird look more like a dinosaur than the cassowary? I argue no, personally.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, birds evolutionarily are a clade that dinosaurs evolved into. So it's not like birds are relatives of dinosaurs. Birds are dinosaurs. And I think the cassowary is the clearest depiction of that. But there is one that comes to mind. That's
they're
like
theropods,
equal.
Right?
Theropod, correct. The southern ground hornbill. If you look up the southern ground hornbill from southern Africa, they're pretty dinosaur looking, but they don't have a crest or like the big claws like cassowaries do. So I would say probably cassowaries the most dinosaur looking of the avian dinosaurs. I'm sorry, avian reptiles.
Melanie Langham, finally someone commented on this, said you got to find a peacock jumper.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons we're going in November. That seems to be one of the better times to actually find them. So Jack has been to Australia way more times than I have. This is my first time that far away from home. So to quote, it's like the old Samwise Gamgee quote, one more step and I'll be the furthest away from home I've ever been. But the peacock spiders can be a little bit tough to turn up, but if you're in the right spot at the right time of year, they can be easy. So we're hoping to really, really go hard on peacock spiders while we're down there. I'm gonna even bring like little tiny mirrors to see if I can get them to like display.
Oh, that would be cool.
We'll see if I can get that, because that's such a cool spider. Let's see, King Charizard. What's your top 3, however you want to put, favorite extinct and non-extinct animals for all 3 of us? So for extinct first,
Velvet.
Velvet spiders are cool. They're not in Australia though. I don't think they are anyway.
Not that I'm aware.
They're like Europe and northwestern Africa, I think. Let's see.
He's gonna say Dunkleosteus.
Oh, wow.
I actually
yeah,
do love
Dunkleosteus is so cool. How did you know I was gonna say that?
But I was reading
Oh,
the
wait.
comment from.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Ichthyo Editor knows that I love Dunkley. A lot of the marine stuff, Dunkleosteus. I can picture a lot of them, but I don't know the names. I'm so bad with prehistoric things. I would say Dunkleosteus. That one, he named it earlier. What was it? What was it called?
Kulosuchus?
Kulosuchus. And honestly, probably something like a mosasaur. Those things, I love
Yeah.
marine stuff. I love
Tylosaurus is a
like,
classic mosasaur.
I don't feature marine things nearly enough on here, mostly because it's very impractical to film them. We tried in Florida last month, and we got our butts handed to us because it was like fighting the current, fighting just the visibility, trying to get things to stay still. Like, it's not as easy as working with stuff on land. And I'm very particular about the shots that I get in final videos. Some of you know that more. Some of you, we talk about it in Discord. That are like,
Basilosaurus is a good shout.
Yeah, I was also going to bring up Quetzalcoatlus, the largest creature to ever fly. They have what, like a 30-foot
or more. Honestly, I thought it was over 40.
Yeah, they're absolutely insane. I've seen a skeleton of one at the Natural History Museum in New York.
Favorite non-extinct? That's a hard one.
That's so tough.
Because it really depends. I mean, I was just watching actually your 1,000 subscriber Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was on that same question. It really depends on what I'm studying. I think consistently, some of my favorites are wandering spiders in the Tennidae family, specifically Phonutria group. I would say Red Widow is up there always.
Nice.
And probably coral snakes right now, I think, are some of my favorites, but it really changes all the time.
Same for me. As far as extinct goes, I have some that are pretty consistent. I'm a big Smilodon fan for those Pleistocene mammal fans out there.
That's a cool one.
So saber-toothed cats I really enjoy, and Smilodon particularly is one that Evan and I got to see growing up, visiting the American Museum of Natural History, I think it was. So that one has stuck with me. Tiktaalik also, Evan and I are fortunate enough to volunteer over at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia, and we have the type specimen for Tiktaalik at the moment. So that one's really special to me. I like Arthroplura, the giant millipede-like, I guess they are myriapods, giant myriapods. But yeah, Arthroplura is really cool. I'm a big fan of Quetzalcoatlus as well. As for extant stuff, it changes practically every week. I'm on a big Latrodectus kick right now, a big widow spider kick. So, especially because for Evan and me, Red Widow is one of our biggest targets for this upcoming Florida trip. I'd probably throw.
We're all taking bites. Not really.
Yeah, that's right.
Not really.
I really hope not. I hope not.
Really.
And then
the Venator said Hatzegopteryx might be larger.
I was gonna. I wanted to actually.
I just looked into that a bit. It seems like they're both estimated between 10 to 12 meters wingspan. So that's insane to think about.
So I was gonna answer quickly for cat sounds. Yes, I am familiar with velvet spiders. They're not native to Australia, so that's gonna be like a Europe or like Northwest, like a Mediterranean trip at some point.
Italy may be on the table next year.
Ooh, yeah, that's another. We'll talk about that in a second about whether I'll be doing more domestic or international soon. I have some.
Was that a question in there?
No, just are you familiar with velvet spiders?
Yeah.
I want to get down some questions really quick.
For sure.
Just some quick ones. Mr. Stensnask asks, I'm late to the party. Is the point of this live chat to give suggestions for the upcoming trip? Yes, to kind of hang out, chat a little bit about Australia and like some upcoming other trips that are not Australia. I would say if you have cool suggestions, I'm happy to field any of these because the plan is to be there The plan is to be there in November for 3 weeks. Most of the time will be spent in southeastern New South Wales and the general Sydney area. So within a 3-hour drive radius of there is what we're looking for most specifically. And I'm doing some research on that area. I'm bringing my buddy Jack down. He's doing research on the area. We are doing one proper outback trip I'm not going to even say what states we're going to be in. I'm not like what we're targeting is kind of a secret. Mostly because I want it to be a surprise. It's going to be a really, really cool video if we can pull it off.
How many legs does it have?
I'm not even going to say that because if I answer that, that gives it away. That gives it away. Because someone also asked if I'm going to see beardies. Oh yeah, Soul asked if there's a chance we might see bearded dragons. I can volunteer that information. We might be able to see bearded dragons. That would be really cool. Someone else asked about thorny devils. We might be able to see those. We will see. We will see if we see them.
I hope so.
Prisma also, how is the Scolopendra Heroes doing? Unfortunately, it did not make it. I have not had the best luck keeping centipedes alive. I wanted to see if I could, but the centipede did not make it. So far, the arachnids that I brought back are doing amazing. I fed them all before I left. I have my brother's watching to make sure that they're safe. I have a tailless whip scorpion and a vinegaroon. Both are doing really well, really strong, really happy. I mean, the vinegaroon is just loving its enclosure. So
Good.
That one might be an easy one to keep. We'll see. But the centipede did not make it, unfortunately, which it happens. So it is sad, but it is what happens when you try to keep them. They're a lot more squishy than spiders and arachnids. At 3, white-tailed spider. I'll do a white-tailed spider bite. I'll do that one. Please, no bite test for Atrax. I do not want to get bitten by Atrax. As I said earlier, I am not sure if I will even free handle it. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be curious to see if it's possible, but I also would be lying if I said that they didn't give me pause. Not because I think they're aggressive. I think that they're very defensive. I think that they're very skittish. And because of that, like they're not as like a wandering spider, I feel like I can kind of reason with because they're fairly intelligent compared to other spiders. They are active hunters. They're above ground. So like light doesn't disturb them as much as it would a funnel web. Even six-eyed sand spider at some point, I would be down to try and free handle because they're basically like a bigger brown recluse. And everything we know about brown recluse spiders is they're really, really not terribly inclined to bite unless you're like pinning them against your skin. So I think we should be okay on those eventually whenever I can get them. But I don't think I don't know how realistic handling funnel webs will be. And I want to be very upfront about that I don't know if it's possible. If it is possible, you'll see when the video comes out.
There you go. Much. What's up, Herbie?
Herbie's in the chat.
Oh, there's Herbie. So Herbie, those of you guys who don't know, Herbie is an OG viewer of the channel. I actually haven't seen you in the comments in a while. Hope you've been doing well.
Taylor Swift Scorpion.
Taylor Swift Scorpion. Who is that? Was that I bet that was No, okay. Oh, who was it? Someone else told me that they thought that Taylor Swift Scorpion sounded like Taylor Swift Scorpion. Might have been Travis actually who said that. Let's see. Someone else asked something really quick. Northern or Southern? DBS. I don't. Northern or Southern what? I know you. Someone. Oh, okay. So you guys were talking amongst yourselves in the. Yeah, we're not going to be in range of saltwater crocodiles on this trip. That's northern territory.
Someone asked about Hadronicky.
Yes. Oh, Prisma. Of course, Prisma asked that one. Yes. I would say that Hadronicky formidabilis, that's the northern tree funnel web spider. It's basically like, think of Sydney funnel web juiced up on steroids. That's a Hadronicky formidabilis. That one, we don't know where to find. They're actually fairly rare. But that is a big one that we are hoping to go after. I would say that's a big target, but we're not counting on being able to find it. We're going to figure out where to go and then spend like 3 days looking for it. Let's see.
Have you guys heard about Ark Survival Ascended? I've heard of Ark Survival Evolved.
Yes.
I haven't heard if there's a new one out.
Is there a sequel to it? I don't know.
I can't say I've ever heard of that at all, actually.
It's an open world survival game where you're like taming dinosaurs.
And that would be cool.
It's also an MMO, I think.
That'd be very cool.
Or yeah, you can play multiplayer. It's apparently one of those super like time intensive games. Like you have to spend hundreds of in-game hours to like hatch a single egg.
Well, thanks so much for that. King Charizard says, I don't have any contact with you, but I want to know that we all wish you a safe trip and a great find.
Cheers.
Thanks so much. And if you want to have more contact, there's actually a link in the description of this live stream to join the Discord server for the channel. Totally free. You can come hang out, chat wildlife, chat Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whatever. I mean, we have all kinds of little sub channels in that Discord. You can talk about whatever you want. Lots of cool people on there too. They'll be happy to chat with you about basically anything you're interested in, honestly.
Interesting question from McVenator. Would a span of like 20 feet be reasonable for a large orb weaver web? Thinking of adding one to my Rex versus Montosaurus drawing, but the scale is bigger than, since dinosaurs. So I've definitely seen orb weaver webs now that are at least 8 or 9 feet long, and probably more than that around the world. Like, especially if you're looking at golden silk orb weavers or some of the other really big, like Nephilah species. I can't confidently say that I know of a spider that will make 20-foot webs contemporarily with, like, if that's T-Rex, then it would be Cretaceous. So yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable. Oxygen levels were way higher back then, even. So
someone just said,
did have some big
Mr. Stensask says, hit up Professor Brian Fry from Queensland University. He can probably tell you where to find hard to find verts and snakes. I think I will, especially for Hadroniki, because that's a big target, and that's a spider that like basically no one has documented, like in video, to show behavior, to show, I mean, just like to see what they look like, to actually have somebody present them online.
You're talking tree dwelling funnel web?
Yes.
Cool.
Honestly, there's so many syllables. It's almost just like just Hadroniki.
Honestly,
it's like we're looking for hadros. Like,
wow, I've seen an orb weaver make a web between 2 apartment buildings with a parking lot between them.
That's crazy.
You should let Travis know about that. Travis has been studying orb weaver or orb weavers really, really closely recently. Like, he's been doing a lot of like independent research on orb weavers. He might be interested to hear that. So hit up Travis, because he'd be very interested to hear about the
Cerberia. Maybe
there's a bunch of there's a bunch of hadros that are easier to find, but like specifically we want Formidabilis because of just its reputation is crazy. Like, that is like probably just because of size. There are some people who claim it might be more toxic than Atrax too, like venom toxicity. Between size, disposition, and venom, it might be as dangerous as a full tank from Phonutria.
Wow,
potentially. Again, that's speculative. So I don't want to like claim.
Saw my first Joro spider in South Carolina. That's cool.
That's cool.
I need to go get those. I definitely have time to do it. I just need to figure out when, because it's like it's when do I schedule that in? Potentially, I need to look at their seasonality. If they're still around in October, I might make a run in October to get Joros, because that would be a pretty good video.
You got greetings from Switzerland.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was that Sariaslan 90?
You have to
not much scared of spiders anymore. That's what we try to do, honestly. Like, we I think that sometimes I actually got feedback recently. Sometimes I think the thumbnails and stuff come across as very scary, but like if you give them a chance, it's the same thing. Like you see spiders in the wild. Yeah, they're scary at first glance, but if you give them a chance, then you can kind of see, oh, they're actually not that different from us. They're just kind of trying to do their own thing. World of Bob. Hey, Spencer, great to see you. Yeah, man. Have you been able to get on the lives before? Hold on, what was it? It was young. How to make a MWB thumbnail. They're watching you. That's been a meme lately too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I have they're watching you in the thumbnail sometimes. I mean, sometimes, yeah, because it's like
sometimes they are watching.
They are watching you. Mm-hmm. If it's in your backyard, or if it's camouflage, watching you from like the shadows. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a cool thing that I like to throw in there once in a while. Eric free-handled large orb weavers before I got into kindergarten. Hey, you were way ahead of me. I wasn't free handling spiders until, God, college, I think.
I'm lucky to have skirted any animal-related fears. Makes the job easier.
Yeah, for me, it was always, I was afraid they were going to bite me for some reason. But then, like, when I would handle all kinds of insects. And then my first time handling an Argiope, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel any different than like a grasshopper or anything. So it kind of quickly, the fear was like gone like in an instant. So I'm like, oh, this is literally nothing different than like any other insect I've held. So a lot of the arthropods, they feel very similar on your skin. I would say I'm still very leery of free handling large Scolopendra. I need to work on that. Well, maybe not, because Dahani could mess you up.
Sure can.
Yeah, free handling Scolopendras high on my list of things I want to hit, either in Florida if we're lucky enough to see Alternans or Viridis, or out west when we finally get out there.
I mean,
for Heroes.
Alternans, I was able to free handle. Every Viridis I've held bit me. Fortunately, they're small, so like they bite me like here on like the kind of fatty pads of my hand, so it didn't really break skin. But
Yeevee asks an interesting question. How would you recommend going about catching an Argiope? So here's what I've noticed with Argiopes. If they're in the center of their web and you try and like cup them off, they're going to drop. So what we've actually found is easier if you're trying to like get a better look at them, tap the web a little bit until it runs to the vegetation where it feels safest. And usually once they scuttle off like that, they'll stay because they don't want to go too far from the web. They're actually not amazing like climbers or even that great at moving over land.
They're a little awkward, honestly, when they're walking over your hands and stuff.
Yeah, if you get them to like tuck into the vegetation near the base of their web, you can usually scoop them out more easily than trying to like get your hand up to the web at the right angle where you're not breaking it, but the spider still comes off. So yeah, try tapping it a little bit. That has helped us in the past with Argiope trifasciata, the banded garden spider.
World of Bob says, no, mate, always missed them. Hey, well, glad to have you this time. I've seen you in the comments a lot, but it's sometimes my brain kind of like forgets who have I seen on live stream and who have I seen in the comments. There's like a bunch coming in. I'm like, and I see regulars. So I'm like, okay, who do I know this person from the comments or from the live stream? My brain forgets. Forgive me. I have a lot of clutter up here right now. This has been a busy and kind of chaotic year. I'm doing a lot of restructuring on the back end and like behind the scenes. Lots of what's this?
Nosferatu spider. That sounds cool.
I've heard of that. Haven't I heard of that?
I don't know that I have, honestly.
News and a big thing, they say it's a big spider.
Nosferatu.
Not very venomous. Yeah, look at what is that? Nosferatu spider.
Oh, I can never find Argiope, and he's the most frustrating.
I think I've heard about that on Reddit. I'm pretty sure Reddit.
Oh, it's Sauropsis.
Okay, the false wolf spider.
Yep.
Those are really cool looking. They actually, what's crazy is they look a lot like the wandering spiders, but they're totally harmless.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's par for the course to have them like blown up in the media, but they're really not anything to worry about. I don't think any member of the genus that I've ever read about
none of the family
significant.
Really, the family is Zoropsidae. None of them are medically significant. Prisma asks, would you consider filming robber flies? Yes, I have a concept that includes them that will probably be coming out this fall. If I can get it done ahead of time, it might be coming out while I'm in Australia. But a lot of people don't know that robber flies are actually venomous. Some of them more than others, but they're actually have a paralytic in their saliva that they use to kind of stun a lot of the things they're eating. And what is it?
An astute observation from Eric.
Where?
Would you consider filming one of the fastest damn things in the air?
Yeah.
We've had that conversation recently about filming dragonflies. Evan and I have a goal of filming dragonfly hunting. But that's so difficult, especially with a macro lens. So we'll give it a try, but
I will probably need a net for it. I mean, the nice thing is robber flies compared to dragonflies, they do sit still sometimes and they'll just kind of sit there and look at you. So if I can get enough footage of one or like a couple of individuals of the same species, I can probably work it into the same segment. But I actually want to do a video breaking down the most venomous insects in the US. Robber flies, it's the most venomous fly. And it's just, I love the venomous stuff. I said before, I'll say it again. Like I have problems. I admit it. I like the venomous things. I like toxic things. They know.
Oh, yeah.
But robber flies. I'll be filming those probably this
Yeah.
fall.
Our mutual friend Donnie, who you just saw, has done some good work with robber
Mhm.
flies.
Especially the Great Plains robber fly.
Mhm.
His video actually popped off
That's
when
a
he did
good
that.
video.
Mhm.
It is an excellent video. So is his cicada killer video.
Mhm.
Yeah, check out the Wild Files YouTube channel.
Check
favorite
out-
channel.
All the spiders in your yard.
He says, and you
It's
make a live
excellent.
stream playing art. And I've considered doing some gaming live streams. I used to do gaming videos back in the day. Some people on here know because I've shown my old channels, but
Bundle of Basil says he's drawn to all things toxic. If
Yes.
only you knew.
yeah, if only you knew. Oh man, it's funny because the last time I was here,
no.
oh man. Thankfully, my girlfriend now is amazing. Thankfully,
Red-footed cannibal flies are out in abundance. Oh yeah, they're a handful when you're walking through clouds of them.
Mm-hmm.
he's talked about some X's. Yes, I have. Did you see the blister beetle video where I threw a little dig in there at it?
No, I didn't. I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen the blister beetle video twice, so I definitely have heard it, but I didn't, I guess, put it together that that's what that was about.
I'm in recovery. Yeah, Basil was there for the discussions. I didn't go into detail on that situation,
I see.
but it was an interesting time of my life, a time that I hope not to relive. Maybe you thrive. I don't thrive. I don't think anyone thrives.
I would
in
agree.
those. But I've been in them.
You've
part is-
survived.
I have survived. I have the scars in here and like even like the wrinkles, like
Stress
it
wrinkles.
ages you like 10 years.
I did, for anyone who's neurotic enough to remember this, I'll just throw out 2 extant species that are favorites of mine right now. Catfish in general, but especially like big Amazonian catfish. Like tiger shovelnose are really cool. And then spitting cobras. Love spitting cobras.
Eric-
Dart from true.
Yeah.
You sequester the toxins of others.
I use it to make myself stronger.
We'll give you plenty of
Use
plenty
the
of fodder
dark
for
side.
you to sequester on this trip.
Laura M, what's up, guys? Love your videos. Thank you so much. Love having you. Love having you on the stream. Love having you in the comments. Literally, I mean, what did you say?
YTL is me dead.
YTL, you don't happen to be named Gage or Jack, do you? Just curious if your name is Gage or Jack or okay. He says, "Get the cup. Time for impressions." They want to hear my Grievous
no, I
impression.
can get
Well,
you
You
a
haven't
cup.
heard my any
What kind of-
I've never
plastic
heard of
cup.
one that
Like
requires
just a
cup.
glass.
And
Yeah,
it helps to like create the vocal modulation, like the echoiness of the cup.
Uh-huh.
It makes the vocal modulation work.
Well, you know what's funny is there's a video of I'm blanking on the actor's name, the guy that voiced General Grievous in the Clone Wars TV show. He does a very convincing unmodulated version of it. Like they obviously tweak it for the show, but his performance, a lot of that is actually his genuine voice.
Who's this?
The guy that voices General Grievous in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that'll work.
All
So
right.
basically, you hold the cup kind of like halfway on your mouth, like this, and it kind of the echoey noise right there. So then you kind of do like a little bit of like it's sort of a Russian or like Eastern European accent, and you got to kind of get into it. Like I do like the whole like arching. It's like, yes, Lord Sidious, and then
That's pretty good.
and then it's like General Grievous. The end of the war.
Yes, you are hearing iMessage dings.
Yeah,
I
there are
think.
a
I don't
few.
know if it's your phone or your computer.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
but
just
my computer.
notifications coming up on
My
the
mom's
computer.
texting me.
I'm actually surprised that they can hear that. That's
It's just
interesting.
loud.
I mean, like I guess I didn't figure that the mic would pick up internal sounds, but that's cool.
Nods of genuine approval.
Because yeah, it does the whole little like modulation in here, and it works. I always love doing this one scene when they're like, do this one, do that one, because I do Palpatine too.
Mhm.
So I'll go, yes, Lord Sidious, General Grievous, the end of the war.
So if I hit you with the hello there,
General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
that's pretty good.
So that's the Discord. They always ask for these in the Discord.
Top favorite Star Wars and Harry Potter movies.
There's not many Harry Potter
I
movies.
like the Rise of Skywalker.
Mason says hi, Spencer. Hi, Mason.
I would say Rogue One.
Oh, here we go, Basil. It's quite loud. Yeah,
Tickle the one on the left, see if the one on the right laughs.
Try it. No. Quantum is
favorite Star Wars? I think mine is still Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
the
Return of the
classic
Jedi.
my top
Rogue One.
My
Rogue
top
One is
three. Number 3, I would say Return of the Jedi. Number 2, Rogue One. Number 1, Revenge of the Sith. And
Valid.
I mean, so many people don't know this. I actually my first foray into video was actually with VFX, and one of my biggest inspirations to even make video content at all was the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith. Like that was just beautiful, and I've never seen anything as beautiful as it since. Just all the ships and stuff, and like all the background details too. I just loved how like meticulous that was. Harry Potter movies, I actually really like the Fantastic Beasts. I relate to Newt Scamander quite a bit because he likes all the creatures and I like all the creatures. I think the original ones were probably the best. The original Harry Potter movies were the best. Like the first 2 definitely had like the magic that I wanted from a Harry Potter movie. And then as they got further in the series, it wasn't that they like lost quality. They gained quality, but I felt like they lost a little bit of that heart.
Right.
So I would say the first 2 Harry Potter movies and then the first of the Fantastic Beasts are my favorite.
For me, number 3 would be the first Fantastic Beast. Second would be Triwizard Tournament. First, probably Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, if the editor said he wants me to kill him. And then there's a whole like they fight. Back away! I will deal with this Jedi slime myself.
If we still had our little lightsabers, that would be fun.
Oh.
Duke it out.
Eric Waltrip, happy Saturday from Eric and my son Ethan in Oklahoma.
Yo.
Oklahoma is a great place to go look for bugs and stuff. Actually, fun fact, some of you might not know this. A lot of the Texas videos were actually filmed in Oklahoma because the habitat was just nicer. We just decided to say it was Texas to obscure location.
Right.
So I do a lot of that. Like I keep locations secret, not just because like we don't want to like dox the locations for like pirate reasons, but also because people will go there and just kill or take the animals from the wild. So it helps to protect them. It's not that I don't trust you guys, it's that I don't trust other people who watch the videos who might not be commenting, but they might be trying to piece together where I found stuff for nefarious purposes. It's better to just, this was in Texas. It looks kind of like Texas Hill Country. Who knows? Stuff like that. So yeah, very similar to Northern Texas. So it's kind of just a little bit less disturbed. So the wildlife is a little bit more prevalent, which means we can find it a little bit easier. But since we were spending most of the time in Texas, we figured let's call it Texas. No big deal. King Charizard, but Harry Potter will always be a childhood memory, no matter what it is now. Yeah, I mean, I love the Harry Potter books. It's such a good franchise.
We need a video of Spencer and the twins acting out Star Wars. That would be fun. We could be clones, and then you could be I don't know, our adversary.
Yeah, do an Order 66 scene.
Oh, actually, that would be cool.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Execute Order 6. Female Brilliant. Nice.
I've only seen one Brilliant. It was that was a few years ago now. It was eating a like a meadow katydid.
Did you film that one?
I got B-roll of it. I didn't put it like it wasn't a full video.
Have we seen Brilliance?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
I don't recall seeing
Phidippus Claris.
Yeah.
I've seen one. I can't remember if it was a female or a male though. I want to say it's the male because the colors were brighter.
Yevie makes an interesting point about the Harry Potter movies. There's
Yeah,
some definitely some really heavy stereotypes
Yeah.
in those movies, unfortunately.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Yeah. Referring.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, my brain registered
Yeah.
Star Wars.
So
No,
some of the
and-
names in
and-
Harry
and
Potter
the,
leave a bit to be.
the-
do you
desired.
guys have some nukes in your back garden? I'm totally okay. That must be Gage.
Some nukes in your back.
That must be Gage.
We don't. We have a colony of false widows.
YTL must be Gage. I refuse to believe that's anyone but Gage.
They do
'Cause
like radioactive
they do like
material.
radioactive materials. Which is
My-
all entirely hypothetical and jokes.
My girl lunch today was unprocessed uranium.
That's how we keep ourselves going on production trips.
Exactly. Accuses him of being Gage.
I'm like, it just sounds like something Gage would say. It probably isn't Gage, but it could also be Gage.
Trust me, I'm not Gage. That sounds exactly
That sounds
like something
exactly
Gage
something
would
Gage would say.
If you show a deep fascination with castor beans, it may well be Gage.
Eric's heading off. See you, man.
Oh, cool. Good luck with that.
Yep, enjoy. And we will definitely try and get into the Discord
shout,
more.
Eric.
Good shout.
They're in there. They're just
We're in there.
they're-
I'm such a lurker
they're
these days.
I
lurkers.
know. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Call, see for yourself.
Loki, it would be great to call Gage right
Gage.
now.
Be like, Gage, are you watching the stream right now?
Call him?
I don't know.
I
Cold
can
call
him.
Gage.
I'll call
No,
him.
now. Call him now.
Opinion like the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, Prisma? I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, if you're referring to
I was
the Batman,
very
it was
impressed.
really good. Not the Flash. No
He
one
says
talks about the
now, or what? Actually, that's the thing. Or what happens if we don't call? That'll determine if it's Gage or not.
True.
What?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Call him now. Now.
Flash.
We could probably.
Prisma's like, call Prisma. Don't jump in this.
Where's Jack right now?
Arizona.
He's on production. Wait, I thought Gage was supposed to be there with him.
So did I.
Oh, did he not end up making it
I
out?
think he is there. I think he's
Oh, that's all the more reason to call Gage.
right. Well, answer us. I wonder if they caught something. If that is Gage, they probably caught something, and they're like, "Let's screw."
What if we called Jack?
What if we called Jack? See what he'll say.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Should
might
I
be filming.
Yeah, he's probably filming. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. 2 hours back, so it's like
No, it's
almost
3 hours. It's 2:50. It's 3 p.m. there.
3 p.m.
It might
So
be
it's-
productive.
Yeah, it depends what their targets are. It's
Well,
like
if they're on
peak
the
heat right now.
mountain,
Oh yeah, if they're in the cloud, or I'm sorry, the Sky Islands, then they probably are rolling right now.
it could be.
Who's the better Batman actor?
Actor? I think I liked Christian Bale.
Christian Bale was really good.
Christian
but
Bale is probably
Pattinson
the
did a
top.
really good Batman.
I have a kind of spicy take that I liked Ben Affleck's Batman. I liked that portrayal. Obviously, the writing in those movies in general left a bit to be desired,
I like
but
the
I
one who
actually
played Batman.
liked how he played Batman.
Are you gonna call Gage?
I was thinking about calling Gage
Call
or Jack.
Gage.
Maybe we'll
Gage.
shoot Jack a text and ask if they're available for like a couple minutes.
What are you up to? Yeah, okay, we'll see if they're not busy.
We'll send Jack and Gage a "Hey, you up?" text.
You up. Prisma, call Gage, call Gage, call Gage.
We'll see what Jack says.
Yeah, we'll see what Jack says.
I would hate for them to like be sitting on a ridge-nosed rattlesnake, and we're like, look at the stream, But Bale.
I didn't
Affleck.
see the Affleck one, so I can't offer a.
It's like that's
uninformed
the
opinion.
Batman v Superman era.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, so I can't speak to it at all. Was he in the Justice League too or no?
He was in the.
Who played Batman in Justice League, or did they not have Batman?
I mean, in the live action, the like Zack Snyder one.
All right, World
Or
of
Joss
Bob.
Whedon.
See you later.
Yep, take care,
ITL
Bob.
stands for something.
YouTube loop.
Me. If it's a scientific name, it's Gage. we're actually here
What's
trying to figure
a
out.
trinomial that's YTL? Y. I feel like genre that start with Y are sort of sparse.
Yeah.
What kind of music? Good question from Corey. What kind of music do you guys listen to?
I listen to a lot of EDM and like moody stuff, like the 1975. A lot of like Sad Boy Hours and EDM.
Valid. I had a big EDM push in high school. Right now, I'm big into metal and rock, but like not classic rock, more like heavy rock and really metal is where I gravitate.
Y Team
And
Leader.
then, like Y Team Leader, like Star Wars reference. Is there a Y Team?
Is there a Y Team?
I mean, there are Y wings.
That sounds familiar, and I'm feeling really stupid that I'm not.
Listen to Kevin McLeod. I listen to Kevin McLeod.
I listen to exclusively Kevin
McLeod.
Oh, rap also.
Takeo Ishii.
Hmm.
Takeo Ishii is very good. Look up Chicken Attack from Shmo Yoho. That's prime music right there.
Yeah.
He featured Originos. Jack featured Originos in the Blacktail video. He did. His Blacktail video was excellent and also suppressed by the algorithm, which we're all dealing with right now.
Algorithm's been weird. I've been trying to fight it on my end, pulling some old like strings with like strategists I know and stuff.
Fave hard rock. Oh, which bands? So I wouldn't call this rock. This is obviously more metal, but like The Fallen Prodigy is a favorite of mine right now. Intervals. Then there are a bunch of classics like love Metallica, Anthrax, like the big four: Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica, and Slayer. Slipknot, I love. 3 Days Grace, that kind of stuff. It's kind of a heavier sound, and then like also some like more death metal stuff. A lot of European, like Russian and Eastern European death metal goes very, very
Chris
hard.
Smith says Tesseract.
Tesseract is good.
Yeah,
that's a cool band name. I'm not gonna lie, that's a cool one.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of metal, a decent amount of rap. Like
I've heard a bit of
lyrical rap.
Yeah, like people like Kendrick Lamar, Joyner Lucas, those type.
Hobson is a favorite of mine as well.
Foo Fighters.
Oh, Pantera is such a good band.
I wouldn't say My Hero Academia.
You know what's funny? I do listen to a fair amount of anime OSTs. Like the Dr. Stone OST is great if you've ever seen that show.
Yeah, anyone who enjoys the kind of content Spencer makes should check out Dr. Stone if anime is your type of content. And Solo Leveling, which just came out this year. Solo Leveling is excellent. It's a short 12-episode watch, so it's good one to get into now while it's
JoJo
early.
music goes hard. It does go
yes,
hard.
It does.
Glitchy818 says, I remember collecting spiders when I was a kid 40 years ago, putting them in a bucket and using a stick to make them fight.
Oh, no.
As a kid, my brother and I used to get a scoop from one ant colony and a scoop from another ant colony and put them together and create ant wars. So, yes. I know the vibe.
Audio Slave and Foo Fighters. I do need to check out more Foo Fighters stuff.
Yeah, I don't listen to them all too often, to be honest. Polyphia is a great. They're like, how do you even describe the genre that Polyphia is? They're like, it's metal, but they do a lot of instrumental.
Yeah, like almost new metal type. I'm so bad at describing music genres. Like our sister goes to school for it. She's a music educator, but like she's really knowledgeable about that kind of thing, and I'll call something metal and I have no idea what the actual subgenre is. Too busy thinking about
He says, oh hey, I'm studying music too.
Nice, very cool. Jen, I do listen to a bit of Jen, honestly, not too much.
Oh, I think Polyphia is Jen.
Polyphia is Jen.
I wonder, see, that's where my knowledge of, like you were saying, musical genre kind of fails me because I don't know enough about Jen to.
Binksy says, "Hey guys, cool stream. Thank you. Just hanging out, chatting. We've kind of deviated from Australia stuff
a little bit. We can circle back.
Yeah, we can bring it back to Australia. What is there anything you are either an interaction or a species that you're nervous to be up close with?
Oh, 100% Sydney Funnel Web. I would say the Eastern brown, really any large elapids. I have no experience with elapids. We had to work our butts off to get permits and stuff for this. We're actually crazy. I started the permitting process for reptiles in April, and it still is not going to be soon enough to actually have my own permits by November. So we had to get guides and stuff for every leg of the trip, more or less. But yeah, the elapids make me nervous. I'm hoping we can get them to kind of coil up and sit. I have it on good authority that we can. But I don't know. Eastern browns, they are like, if you know black racers here in the US, they're like a tan, I guess a coach whip they're like a coach whip, but angrier and with venom. So I'm genuinely kind of nervous for a lot of the elapids there. The lizards and stuff are gonna be super cool. I mean, the monitors can probably scratch you and scrape you up, but
yeah, oh, dude, monitors are no joke. Like, have you ever handled an iguana?
No.
Iguanas have ridiculously sharp claws, as we've worked with them in captivity and down in Florida a bunch, but in Ecuador, day one, my hands got like torn up from a pretty small green iguana. Monitors are even worse. Intelligent, claws are super sharp, necks are super mobile, tails are super mobile. One of my all-time favorite groups of probably reptiles in general in the world, but super hard to work with, so be careful with them. I saw a cool question
we have
come
a couple
in.
questions.
How many species of jumping spiders are there in North America?
A lot.
There are
Probably over 1,000, I have to guess.
The last count that I saw was somewhere in the 350 to 400 range, but that's probably a lower estimation.
For North America, including Central?
No, probably not. That was probably a US Canada count.
Yeah, US, I believe 300.
US and Canada probably have like 350 to 400, but then in all of the like
proper North America,
right,
I have to
like
say
continental North America, it's got to be.
Let's see.
Funnel web is understandable.
What are your guys' ethnic background? I am very German. I mean, Hoffman is like one of the most common German last names you can get. German, English, Scottish. My dad is Scottish and Polish. I'm a mutt.
So are we.
Yeah, we're a lot of like Eastern Europe, Poland, and Ukraine, I believe. But kind of nondescript Eastern European heritage. Take care, Basil. Good to see you pop in.
Dane Myberg, you guys going to Oss? I am. So these guys will not be able to join this time. Where I'm just hanging out with them today because I'm in Pennsylvania on production. We're gonna be getting like different hognose snakes probably tomorrow. Hopefully, if things go well.
They were rare when I found them under stuff in PA. What's the name of the spider with a bright red front half and a light tan? That sounds like
that's the woodlouse hunter.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Is woodlouse hunters.
Hoping for those as well. I think targets for this trip are woodlouse hunting spider, hognose snake, horseshoe crab, sea spider, fiddler crab, and maybe northern black widow if we have time. Someone else said something else. No, we have not called Gage yet. We're trying to see if they're available. We don't want to disturb them if they're on production. So if you are not Gage and Gage is working, I might not make it to Australia if I call him in the middle of work. Let's see.
Revjet Raul, if you like Star Wars, you should do a video on the antlion. Yes, Sarlacc of real life.
I have some footage of them. Like it's one of those ones. Like I have a lot of projects that are like in the works that I've been working on for like over a year plus. Like those of you who watch the Secret Worlds documentaries, I have a praying mantis video that's been in the works since 2022, and it's not close to being done. I have a jumping spider video that's in the works, and it's not close to being done. I got a bunch of footage of antlions just destroying harvester ants in Florida, and I'm hoping to do more stuff with them.
Hey,
Smet's here.
Let's go.
I tried to get them down earlier this month. I tried to get them down to Arizona. I bullied them hard. They were tough nuts to crack. I was telling them how I was trying to bully you guys.
Arizona for us is happening as soon as possible. Hopefully concurrent with monsoon season would be the goal. but
No, I have not seen the new Alien Romulus. I'm really behind on the Alien franchise. I'm either editing, doing production stuff, or I'm researching for future projects. So a lot of my
interest there.
I smell fear. A lot of my time for going to see movies gets eaten up by a lot of that.
Someone asked about Godzilla -1, which I've also heard was really good. I just haven't, like you said, we don't get a lot of time to watch movies.
I'm doing great. So those are guys who don't know, Smetlogic Herping, who's in the chat, fantastic snake hunter. Probably, he'll never admit it. Probably one of the best, maybe the best in the Southwest. He'll never admit to it. Very, very like down to earth, humble guy, but probably one of the best snake hunters you could ever see. And his videos, like, he doesn't post super often, but his videos, they show some of the craziest reptiles you can get in the Southwest US and Mexico. Check him out.
If you want a video that will just genuinely make you smile, anything Smetlogic posts is like it's one of my favorite little niches on YouTube, is just what Rob is doing, and Rob and Nick and everyone who guests on that channel is just
every chance I'm out that way, I always try to get him out in the field just to hang out. Even if we're not finding anything, it's just always a good time.
Mason's heading out.
Yeah, Nick is in Mexico as he types this. Well, hopefully he gets some good stuff.
I saw one thing come in. Any intentions of visiting small islands from Mauritius? Very cool, in the Indian Ocean.
Eventually, yeah.
I would love to. Evan and I did a series back in 2018 in the British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. So that was really cool, getting to feature some wildlife that really doesn't have a lot of representation on YouTube. But yes, there are so many island nations that I would love to visit. Mauritius is a big one. Love to hit any of the smaller nations in Oceania that never get any love. I was actually just reading about some of the coral reef restoration in Palau and Kiribati and Tuvalu as well. So just so many small, super underappreciated island chains. Cape Verde is another one off of Western Africa. Yeah, Western.
Rob's like, are you guys going to Australia too? I wish.
Yeah,
I wish.
Not on this trip.
Rob, I'm actually in Pennsylvania with them right now. We're going to go for Eastern hognoses tomorrow, actually. And then poking around for woodlouse hunting spiders, horseshoe crabs, sea spiders, a bunch of cool marine arthropods this week. Kind of a little rocket run. And then we're going to Florida next month. But I wanted to do a quick little announcement stuff, see what people want to see in Australia when I'm down there, because that's in November, so it gives me
Jack is on production right now.
Okay, yeah, just over 2 months to get prepped, and I want to make sure that I kind of see what people want to see. Pseudechis, is that one of the red-bellied black snakes, or is that?
I thought so.
Yeah, if we see, I'm looking at a lot of the cool elapids. We have a chance at tiger snakes. We have a chance at red-bellied black snakes, lowland copperheads, not to be confused with the copperheads we have here. They're much.
Oh, that's browns. Pseudechis is going to be your mulgas.
Okay.
They're like king browns. I think red-bellied black.
We will see.
Yeah, red-bellied blacks.
Oh, okay, it is Pseudechis.
You'll get
Pseudechis. We should find a Pseudechis of some kind while we're down there.
What are our top greatest finds?
For me, I would say right now, purple bloom bird eater.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was going to be one of mine.
The first red widow. Now I can find them pretty easily. We have spots for them now, so it's I'm kind of jaded on red widows. But the first time they were hard. And then I would say probably the eastern coral snake. Those are my top 3.
Solid.
Yeah, I would say purple bloom is definitely up there for me. Spectacled bears in Ecuador was an incredible experience.
Ecuadorian toadhead too.
That also wasn't there for that one.
That's a fairly rare, actually, endemic viper species that's only found in Ecuador and a tiny sliver of northern Colombia. So that was one that we put a lot of days in, and it wasn't looking like we were going to get any return on our time in the cloud forest reptile-wise. So pulling that out was really cool. So yeah, Toadhead, Purple Bloom, Spectacled Bear's up there. We've seen a Florida Panther once, but I can't really say that was a find.
To circle back to the small islands question. Funny enough, I'm actually looking to do more international travel in the future. The Arizona trip earlier this month drained my bank account, and I didn't get a whole lot of finished concepts from it. So I've kind of realized that for the budget that I have, I actually will be able to find more things to film if I travel internationally than domestic. So basically my current philosophy is if I can't drive to the location within a day, then I probably will hold off until I have a lot of good contacts and spots in the field, just so I'm not like sinking, thousands of dollars into a trip that could have gone to like Costa Rica or Southeast Asia or something like that. Cause those are expensive, but like I'll get 20 to 30 videos in those spots. So I'd rather spend that kind of money and then get tons and tons of cool things I can film for you than get like two things. Jamie Morgan asked, any news on that Florida park? They're trying to turn it into a golf course. No news yet. They have moved the interest meeting because there's a lot of interest, so they had to move it back a little bit. It sounds like they are seeing that this is a very wildly unpopular decision, which is very promising. Fun fact, I wanted to kind of point out, one of the parks that is in the crosshairs is where I was bitten by the red widow. So I actually think I might make an update video on that, because that might get a lot of attention. And I think making a video that can get a lot of attention to drive more traffic to this incentive could be a good thing.
Ian Phillips is in.
Yeah,
shout out Ian.
There he is.
How's it going, Ian?
But yeah, so it is a mess, the whole golf course thing. It's very unfortunate. They're trying to pitch it as, oh, we'll be funding for the other parks or something. But the thing is, like, so many of these microhabitats they're going to bulldoze have stuff that is poorly understood, stuff that might even be endemic. Like, there might be like weird, cool little invertebrates that could go extinct from this happening. And most people don't care, but the people who are here do care, and that's important.
And if you like birds, there are critically endangered birds that are under threat. Gopher tortoises, really rare flowers, butterflies. And it's not just one park, it's actually 9 state parks in Florida. For those who aren't aware of what's going on, the government of Florida recently announced plans to take 9 state parks and add a bunch of different facilities. Some of them are golf courses, some of them are pickleball courts, a couple like hotels or something like that, where they're proposing to destroy literally thousands of acres of really precious and rare Florida scrub habitat for, in my opinion, for essentially no reason, because why you need to look to established state parks to expand that kind of infrastructure is beyond me. But it's just, it displays a fundamental disconnect from what people actually want out of their state parks and wild spaces.
So it says, hello. Hello there.
Hello. There was another question I wanted to get to.
Where was it?
2 questions, actually. How many states have you been to, and also countries? And do you mind asking what cameras we film? I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Evan and I film on a Sony A7 IV with a bunch of different lenses. And then auxiliary cameras are a GoPro Hero 11 and our phones, actually. iPhone 12. Shot on iPhone. On iPhone.
I don't know if I can count how many states I've been to.
There are only 50.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to remember offhand. Like, I've been to so many. I know I haven't been like in the East Coast. I haven't been north of Pennsylvania. So this is like the furthest northeast I've been. This in New Jersey. All of the East Coast, south of that I've been to. West, I don't think I've been to Kentucky. It's easier to almost name the ones I haven't been to. I don't think I've been to Connecticut. Montana was my first time in the northwestern area. So like Washington, Oregon, California, I haven't been to. Nevada, I haven't been to. Countries is easier. I've been to the US, I've been to Canada, I've been to Ecuador. So Australia will make 4
Nice.
this November.
I
But yes, I film on this right here.
I think we've been to 13 states, unless I'm forgetting something.
I can rattle them off real quick.
Yeah.
States that we've actually done anything in and not just driven through.
Yeah.
Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, PA, New Jersey, Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Washington, Ohio, Kentucky.
Oh, Maryland.
Maryland. Did I say Maryland? Virginia. And then also Illinois for me once, because I went to Chicago fairly recently.
I grew up there.
Yeah. Illinois, and we were born in New Jersey, which is one of the worst things about us.
New Jersey. You guys into video games? I'm a big Nintendo fan.
Cool comment from John. Did you see the comment that came in from John?
Oh, as a kid, I had a bad fear of spiders. I confronted that and eventually had a collection of tarantulas. That's the way to do it. But it took me 15 years to actually handle one. Hey, I'm glad. I see a lot of comments with that, and honestly, that's one of the most important things I think that I do here. Is there's a lot of different creatures. I'm trying to do that more with snakes as well now. Like I would say, snakes and spiders and sharks are probably the most feared animals in the world.
Yep.
And to me, they're the ones I'm most excited to see. I like the things that creeps everyone out because I don't know. I think I just had problems as a kid, but then it kind of became less problems and more just curiosity, and that drove me to be a scientist in the first place. But now it's like to be able to kind of be in that science communication spot where I can kind of show people, hey, these things aren't evil. They're not monsters. They're just, they're simple creatures trying to make their way in the universe.
Right.
They have a purpose with what they're doing. They're trying to live their own life. They're trying to stay in their own lane. When they stumble into our paths, it's not because they're looking for us. It's because they just happen to be there, and interactions happen. It's better to. I had a great comment. Someone was telling me I shouldn't use snake hooks. I'm like, but I'm like, the thing is, interactions do happen. There's a lot of this sentiment on the internet of like, don't handle things, don't do that. But the thing is, these animals do come into our world because they're part of our world. We're not in this bubble apart from wildlife, and the sooner we accept that and kind of learn to coexist with even the scary animals, the easier and the nicer life gets. So, sorry, you had.
I was just gonna say we've also been to Louisiana and Mississippi. Forgot about that.
But like one of the most meaningful things is seeing in the comments when people are like, "Yeah, like you helped me overcome my fear of spiders," and I'm like, "That's awesome," because that is one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do with this channel. Like people would get mad. Oh, I handled like some of the deadliest spiders. I'm like, that's really irresponsible. But I'm like, I'm not telling people to do this. Like, don't handle a Phenutria. Like I probably will never handle a Phenutria again. I don't want to, test fate, right? But the thing is, being able to do that on camera and walk away unscathed, it sends a powerful message to people. They're like, hey, this thing that you're afraid of, it's not a monster. Right. And that's why I do those kind of stunts.
I love it when useless development projects destroy endangered species because they can. So true.
Yeah.
Great question from Norman after you finish that thought.
But yeah, no, Ick Venator was just talking about the development in Florida, which the public comment period, I believe, was moved to September 3rd. But this is something that if you really if you spend any time in Florida, or if you're really passionate about our native invertebrates, or really any animals, this is a time where we really need to mobilize and get as many people talking about this and platforming this issue before it happens. We have a very rare opportunity where development like this was caught in time by people in the community, and we actually have the chance to go to the public comment meeting and maybe actually change things if a significant number of people show up for it. So
last I checked, the signatures on the petition was over 75,000.
Oh, really?
Probably over 100 now.
I would imagine so. Yeah, and I know they had to push back the public comment periods due to high engagement. I don't know if they were being kind of sly with it, and they had the meetings for all 9 parks there were individual comment periods, but they were all happening on the same day at the same time, and it was like 3 p.m. on a Tuesday.
But a great question here from Norman: is there any animals that are kept in captivity that you guys think really shouldn't be?
Oh,
I'm gonna say sharks.
Yes.
And what, cetaceans? Is that the group, like the ones that are
dolphins and
dolphins
whales?
and whales? Because they need so much space. These are not like reef dwelling animals. These are pelagic. They're traveling miles and miles per day. That's just their lifestyle, and we don't have the means, even by like creating current or whatever in the enclosure, we don't have the means to give them the space that they need to actually thrive. It's partially why we have never seen a great white in captivity. They just don't survive.
Right.
And it's like, it's annoying. Ramjet Raoul, I made a community post. Just go to my channel. It's the most recent community post. The petition link is right in there.
There are so many others. Evan and I have spent a bit of time working as associates for a specialty fish and reptile store over the last few months. And there are so many fish that are common in the aquarium hobby that have no business being kept by the vast majority of clients who enter that industry. Like fish like, what are some examples? Not that no one should keep them, but like red-tailed catfish that get 5 feet long, or tiger shovelnose that get 4 feet long, or tinfoil barbs, and all these fish that are commonplace in the aquarium hobby, that if you're keeping them properly need 500, 600,000 gallon tanks. And that's without hyperbole. And they're sold in Petcos around the country like they're goldfish. And even goldfish live 30, 40 years and get 2 feet long if you keep a goldfish properly.
I mean, even that, like if we're talking about stuff that's impractical for most people, like there are some things that I think if you have the enclosure space, you could keep them, but many things you probably shouldn't. I mean, number one, I'd say look at Clint's reptiles and just follow what he says, because he has a pretty good takes on a lot of those things. But in general, I mean, a lot of large snakes, for the vast majority of people, they have no business keeping them. Like most of your large constrictors, there are people who can absolutely keep them and be fine. And I know a few of them, but the vast majority of people who are buying ball pythons and stuff have no business owning a snake like that.
True. And then good point again.
Ramjet mentioned something I was going to say as well. Elephants and really pachyderms in general. Like you see hippos and rhinos more often in zoological facilities than elephants, but even still, it's kind of the same problem with cetaceans, as you really just can't reasonably provide them with enough space for them to actually thrive. And especially for elephants, where they're so social, you need enough space to keep several individuals with a full range.
King Charles says it's all about the money, sadly. Yes. Now, I will say one thing: if they are being as ethical as possible, a lot of zoos are actually generally a good thing, though, because they fund research. Like I would say, and this is kind of like the shady side of like the wildlife entertainment industry, including zoos as part of that industry. There is a lot of shady stuff that happens. I mean, you have people like the Fish and Garretts who are yoinking stuff, but it's still it's unethical, but it still gets people excited about wildlife, and that in turn can help fund research that is well needed. It can get platform for petitions like this one, where there's awareness for this, move to like bulldoze parks. So it's like sometimes there is a little bit of a necessary evil, even if keeping elephants is not the most ethical, it's not the most comfortable for the elephant. But in cases like that, I'm like, sometimes the benefit to the ecosystem at a whole, like the amount of research we're able to do, the conservation work we're able to do, sometimes it does make it worth it, but it is a hard, it's a controversial thing. It's hard to see what the right answer is. With a lot of this stuff.
The thing with zoos that has always kind of drawn me to them as an educational tool is I don't think there's really a replacement for seeing a live animal in front of you. Now, whether or not, like you said, keeping some things in zoos that draw a lot of attention, it's usually, your big megafaunal animals like big cats and pachyderms and things, keeping them properly can be very difficult and obviously requires a huge investment of time and money. But the connections you can form when you're seeing an animal in person live, I think is even more so than you can glean from watching digital content and that kind of media. So there is certainly something very powerful, an experience that zoos offer that, barring traveling the world to find wildlife kind of the way we do, you can't really have that experience another way.
Great question from Mitchell Thompson. Are there any domesticated animals that you think don't get the attention and care they deserve?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
All.
You see, I wouldn't say all, but
dogs
definitely
and cats are pretty good.
But like a lot of them, I mean, even like you see like rabbits and like,
I was gonna say rabbits.
Rabbit, like there's people who like around like Easter time, the sales of rabbits go way up, but most of those end up in shelters.
Yeah.
It's like it's cute as a little gimmicky present in your Easter basket. And then after that, they're okay, we're bored of the rabbit, you know.
Right.
A lot of dogs, I would say too, dogs and cats, they're on the better end of treatment for the most part, but also I think dogs and cats get the worst end because they're such popular pets. People will get them for Christmas and birthdays, and then it kind of loses the novelty and eventually gets neglected, and you have issues like that. I think in general, if a domesticated animal is an unexpected gift and not something that a kid has wanted for like forever, it can probably, a lot of birds too. For me, I had parakeets for a long time, but I wanted them for a long time, and they were my babies. Like I got them as a gift. It was a kind of a surprise, but like I spoiled the crap out of those birds. Like I love those birds like my kids.
Yeah. I want to hit a question before it disappears in the scroll. James Nielsen asks, the angle is so symmetrical. Do twins exist in other species? They do. There are a ton of animals that either regularly give birth to twins or are capable of giving birth to twins. One that comes to mind are armadillos. 9-banded armadillos don't just have twins. They almost always have quadruplets when they reproduce. Deer, a lot of white-tailed deer in our region have started having twins because there are no checks on their populations because all the predators are extirpated from this area. So deer will do it. A lot of mammals actually are capable of having twins or more. But when it comes to the actual physiology of like one egg splitting into multiple viable eggs, armadillos are one where that happens all the time. So that's a pretty cool one.
Another question we'll hit before it scrolls away from us. While in Australia, do you plan on filming any myriapods?
Myriapods. So originally I had a bunch on the list. However, again, Australia is so huge, and it's one of those things you hear it, you know it, you underestimate it though until you're actually like studying Australia to like try and target stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, this is in the same state we're going to be in, and Jack's like, yeah, that's 5 hours from where we're going to be, and I'm like, oh. It's like because even the states in Australia are much larger than many countries, so I don't know if we'll be in range of Ethmostigmus. If we are, it's again, a lot of these, I have a philosophy on, it's gonna be production trips. Anything that is cool, I will film. Even if I wasn't planning to film it, if I wasn't targeting it. If I find something cool, I'll film it and then figure out where it fits later. I would say most of the stuff that I have planned, we're targeting. Again, we're gonna be there for 3 weeks. We're gonna be going super pedal to the metal the whole time. I kind of expect to get home and just crash for like several days, and then I have to immediately, if that main project that I'm working on in the Outback, if I can get that one, I'll be uploading that as soon as possible after Australia. But
okay,
like that's like my goal is to make that the first. He knows what it is. These guys know what it is that we're targeting. Don't go in their comments and bully them and ask because they've been sworn to secrecy.
We have.
But if we get that one, that'll be the first one.
I'll tell you for $5.
What I saw a couple more questions.
Tell you for 1,000 views on Brown.
Mr. Sensen asks, am I the only one dreaming of a game about biodiversity and evolution, like a super detailed top-down world builder?
That sounds awesome.
That would be awesome.
One of those.
Yeah, I feel like what is that game called? Like not Spore, but like kind of Spore.
I think I have heard one. It might be
Yeah, there's
There-
one where you
there's-
like start as bacteria and then you evolve.
there's one where you evolve. I don't know if there's one where it's like the Zoo Tycoon, but you're just building an ecosystem.
CDs says, "Damn, I'm late." No, you're not. A little bit, I guess. We've been hanging out for a little bit extra time, which is good.
Some points from Ian. The whole Florida situation sounds messed up. We're lucky enough to have the opposite happening in some parts of the UK with funding for rewilding and new habitat
That's
projects.
good.
That's awesome.
That's very encouraging.
You love to hear it. It's tough to get the funding and you won't get paid much. Very true. But seeing wildlife recovery is super rewarding. Absolutely.
There's some groups that are doing some really good work. Not all out of the UK necessarily, but in Europe, there's Planet Wild is doing exceptional work really around the world. Mossy Earth.
Ian, you need to get a collab going with Leaf Curious.
Yes,
that
Leaf
would
Curious
be
and Mossy
crazy.
Earth. I feel like you guys would get along very well.
Ian Phillips Leaf Curious collab would be
CD
wild.
said, "Would I go for trapdoor wolf spiders?" Yes. In fact, funny you should ask that. So a lot of the wolf spiders here in the U.S., I feel like I've kind of, with the exception of one species, some of the Discord know about this one because I got really my butt handed to me on that. The Santa Rosa wolf spider is one of the last targets I have in the U.S. wolf spider wise, and the reason being is I feel like I've told all of the stories that I'm personally excited about telling for North American wolf spiders, but Australia has some really crazy looking ones. So basically every large spider in Australia I'm going to film, but particularly any of the cool subterranean like trapdoors or funnel web wolf spiders, and they have it's called I want to say it was like Mega Dolomedes or something. They have a huge fishing spider,
giant fishing spider. Wow,
it's like freaking like tarantula sized. Like
Leaf Curious collab is about to happen.
what?
No way!
Excellent.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
CC says, "I love your spider videos. Used to have terrible arachnophobia, but your videos have helped me
There you
overcome
go.
it."
Congratulations.
Thanks so much for including me in your journey, honestly. And we're going to be really pushing the arachnophobia to the max in Australia.
Oh yeah.
Giant huntsman, I'm hoping to see. I might actually do one of those like this spider will cure your arachnophobia with them because they're huge, fast spiders, but they're actually sweethearts. Like once you get them to like calm down, like my buddy Jackson from Bugs and Biology, those things are his babies. Like, and in your house, like they'll wind up in your house. People just, well, the people who aren't afraid of spiders just kind of keep them because like, oh, okay, that thing's gonna eat all the nasty bugs. Because they're big, they're fast, and they're harmless to people.
Right.
So they're kind of like great security guards against cockroaches and other like household pests because they'll basically overpower anything that you don't want in your house, which is fantastic.
Been working with some of the Mossy Earth guys, part of the same family. Yep.
Oh,
I believe
sweet.
Leaf Curious. I think he was originally a Mossy Earth or is still a
Yeah,
partner.
he works with them, but then Leaf Curious is that gentleman's personal channel.
Norman says, "Do people in Australia just live with these crazy spiders in their homes?" More or less.
Yeah.
Many of them probably unwillingly. They know they know they're there, but they don't know where they are. So they kind of just have this little kind of don't ask, don't tell policy with where the spiders are at. But yeah, I mean these spiders they just live. I mean it's where Australia is their home, so they do wind up in people's houses.
But the funny thing is that's true of here, and that's probably true of where you're at too. I'd be more than willing to bet there are spiders very, much closer to you than you'd expect.
I don't care how clean your house is. I guarantee you there's a spider in it right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
I would argue that having spiders in your house is not at all a sign that your house is not clean. Not only do they like having spiders around means you're going to have much better control over populations of any sort of insect or other arthropod that gets into the house, but also there are spiders that have evolved to live entirely in and among human settlements. That's what we refer to as synanthropy. And that's true of a lot of different invertebrates, but spiders have some of the most, some of the best and most intricate synanthropic survival strategies where they're sometimes modifying their web structures to work better in our corners or basements or along like siding, like we're going to shoot tonight with our false widow colony. So they're really impressive in the ways that they've truly not only just adapted and made use of, but evolved to function in our homes. So if you have spiders around you, don't think you're doing anything wrong. That's literally what they evolved to do.
'Cause there's a lot of them. A lot of those really synanthropic species, they came from caves.
Right.
And like caves are not very dirty either because they're just kind of these big spacious voids in the middle of like rock structures and stuff.
Lick the floor then. Spencer's done, bro. He's been here 6 hours.
But yeah, so they're living in caves and stuff. So basically, as far as they're concerned, because I mean they're not like that smart. As far as they're concerned, your house is just a fancy looking cave, and they're like, okay, it's dry, it's sheltered from like direct sunlight. Great, I'm gonna find a corner and make a web and be super happy. And that's kind of how they wind up in your house. They just kind of find their way in through little cracks and crevices and your like ventilation system or something, and then they find a spot, make their house, and then they're good to go.
Yeah, it's interesting because we don't tend to think of human structures as really suitable habitat for wildlife because there's often this sentiment that humans are separate from the natural world. But for for species that can tolerate human conditions, it's just as viable as a type of habitat as any natural or like any naturally occurring structure.
Mhm.
Like trees and
Antrodemus
stuff.
says, hello from North Carolina. Hello from Pennsylvania. Usually I'm in North Carolina. That's where I live. But today I'm in Pennsylvania with the Wildlife Brothers. We're going to be, actually, we're going to be wrapping up soon on the stream because tomorrow we got a very early morning.
We do.
We're driving, 2 hours?
Something like that.
And we have to get to the spot by 8 a.m. because peak hognose temperatures are going to be hitting right around that time. We're hoping for hognose snakes.
Yeah. Oftentimes when you're looking for reptiles, you're not going out at a time of day, you're going out at a temperature of day.
Mhm.
So the advice we were given by an excellent herper around here is get there at 60 degrees. So reptile hunting can be kind of interesting that way. I saw one question, or I guess it wasn't a question, it was more like an anecdote. Oh no, there it is. I think it's weird that animal twins still look the same as their other siblings, but human twins, you can tell they look different from other twins.
I think part of that comes from our ability to like recognize subtle differences in people's faces, which is again, it's an evolved thing in our brains. We are so good at processing faces, like ridiculously good at them. So over time, you kind of do. Probably if you spend a lot of time with animal twins, you'd learn to notice differences too. Like I can if I look at like different individuals of the same dog breed, for example, I can see a lot of subtle differences. Though at first glance, like, oh, they're all Boston Terriers, or oh, they're all Labs, but actually the different individuals do kind of look different. So if you spend a lot of time with twin animals, you probably find subtle differences as well. I saw a question. Where did it go?
An invasive spider in the UK is the false widow. We'll be filming false widows tonight,
Mm-hmm.
though a native species to here
yes.
as well as invasive.
We have, I once had a gecko lizard that could scream if disturbed. Do other lizards vocalize? Some
Yes.
do. I think it's mostly geckos.
Yeah, tokay geckos are the ones who are really famous for screaming when you catch them. Other geckos will croak or like sort of make a chirping sound, actually. And then a lot of lizards are capable of hissing, but that's more like expelling air through their throat, right? Or like through their mouth than it is like an actual sound that they're producing with a dedicated organ, but they can make sounds.
I think I've had house geckos that I've caught squeak. Like,
I need to ask a bird expert, what happened to the red wild blackbirds in the sea? Oh, I haven't been to Seattle in many years, so I haven't kept up with what like the bird populations are doing, but a lot of times expansion of agriculture or introduction of pesticides can tank bird populations. So that could well be the case.
Prisma asks, did you ever find the woodlouse spiders, by the way? Well, considering we didn't find them before the stream, and we've been on the stream this whole time, I don't know. Did we find any woodlouse spiders while we were on stream?
Not just yet.
As much as I want to.
We have not found
one. Have run through our base
yet.
Unfortunately,
we probably will find one while I'm here, though. So,
I don't know what they truly look like up close or how terrifying they would be if they were the size of humans. Yeah, if we were the size of humans, would we be terrifying? Yeah. I know the question wasn't about us.
Yeah, we would. I know I would be. For Halloween, like, what do you dress up as? Myself. It's the scariest thing I can think of.
Oh, King Charizard was referring to praying mantises. If they were humans. Yeah, that would be pretty terrifying. They're They're one of the species that we're probably glad are too small to prey on.
Every
Yeah.
time I film a praying mantis hunting or a spider hunting or a dragonfly, I'm like, I'm glad I'm, 5 feet tall.
Yeah, they can be pretty gnarly. Prisma says Spencer is much taller than normal human size. Yes.
Do we count as normal human size?
Not around
What are you-
Spencer.
You're what,
5'8".
Yeah, we're
You're about
5'8",
average, yeah.
but
So they're
nothing like-
actually normal human size.
right.
There's a woodlouse
Um,
spider in my house right now, says Ian Phillips.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, let's.
You want to
let's
bring
hop
it
on-
over here real quick?
Yeah, just bring it across the pond real quick. We'll film it happily.
I think I know
Cats.
your answer for Norman's question.
Where
What's
is
the
it? Where is it?
longest
Where is it?
time you've spent trying to find an animal? Do you mean concurrently or like over successive trips? Because I think I know your answer for that.
I think many people do. People in the Discord definitely know the answer. Considering there's stuff that I've been looking for since I started the channel and haven't found it yet.
We
So-
have some of those.
A few of those, like for the length of the channel, mud snake is one. I've not seen a mud snake alive. Well, I might have seen one before I knew what it was, but mud snake I've been looking for 6 years now. Diamondback isn't even the longest, because Diamondback I've been looking for 3 years. The Eastern Diamondback I've been looking for 3 years. Gila monster I have found in the wild, but it wasn't in a good filmable position, so I'm still looking to be able to film one. That's going on over a year now. What else? Oh, giant desert centipede, desert face. I found a baby one, but that wasn't filmable. So an adult giant desert centipede, I've been going over a year looking for that as well. That's one. I try to film as much as I can, even when I'm on the trips and I fail, because I love, as painful as it is to go years without seeing the thing you're looking for, it is really satisfying when you see that years of work come together in one big video. I know Prisma, one of the favorites on the Discord, Prisma and Ichthyovenator, who are in the chat right now. One of their favorites is that triple pygmy rattlesnake video.
Oh,
that
yeah?
Was over the course of a year.
That was a super fun video to be a part of, even because we just shot one with the Carolina pygmy. Hopefully we'll get some dusky pigs in Florida this year. I saw a few more questions come in.
Yeah, I did. What animal or reptile scares you guys the most? People.
Fair. Honestly, that's the only animal that personally scares me is people.
I would say there are lots that make me feel uncomfortable, and there are some that I would say I have a healthy respect of, because I think there are some animals, it's not irrational to be afraid of them because we know what they can do to us. And it's particularly things that would see us as food. So like very, very, very large crocodilians, I wouldn't want to get in the water with. Right. I would sit next to on land and talk about them. I'm not gonna let that fear. It's like the Jedi teachings, right? You can feel fear. Fear is okay to feel, but if you let it become the master of you, that's when it becomes a problem. So there are plenty of spiders that I'm very nervous around. I mean, I wasn't calm and collected handling the wandering spider. I was afraid of that spider because I know what that spider could do to me. That is an animal that could very easily kill me. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to let that fear completely control me and make sure that I can't produce a video. A lot of large scolopendra, I know what they can do. They can't kill you, but they're very fast. They're very unpredictable, and their bite is extremely painful. So yeah, I'm nervous around giant centipedes, but that's not going to stop me from going out to try and find them. Because in some ways, the fear is a feature, not a bug. And it's I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie with certain animals. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that I would say I'm uncomfortable around, but I still kind of push through it because it's worth it.
Right. I wouldn't even say necessarily that I'm afraid of the species that I'm about to mention, but there's certainly something I'm always wary of when we're out exploring are ticks, because anything that carries life-altering diseases like Lyme or alpha-gal, that's really something I don't want to have to experience. So definitely staying vigilant for ticks and stuff like that when we're out in the field is that crosses my mind.
I
often
would
than
say
not.
there are more microorganisms, protists
Oh
especially,
God.
that make me nervous.
Trypanosoma.
More so than animals, right?
Mhm.
Trypanosoma, just amoebas in general. There are a lot of amoebas that are hyperparasitic.
I am personally not comfortable submerging my head in freshwater environments, especially stagnant freshwater. I
Prions.
will not submerge my head for that reason.
Yeah, prions are
Um,
terrifying.
Prisma asks, do you have a chance at huge giant water bugs on PA?
I
Actually,
wish.
are they here?
Not in our region of PA.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't think we get huge giant water bugs. I've
We
never
have a
seen
chance
one.
at Benicus in Florida, though.
Yes,
We'll be,
Florida
next
gets
month.
them.
I'll be able to see them.
We have water scorpions here, which are very cool, and it is their season right now. But I've never seen a giant water bug in PA. We get diving beetles and like some fairly large ones, like predaceous diving beetles. We'll get whirligigs. We have a good diversity of aquatic insects, but not the giant water bugs, unfortunately.
If Titanoboa was still alive.
Thanks for joining, YTL. We
Yep,
appreciate
take care.
everything.
Great to find out that you were engaged. If Titanoboa was still alive and wasn't aggressive at first, would you stand next to it? Sure. If I already fed Harrison to it.
Right. Oh, Titanoboa, largest snake to ever live.
How big was that thing?
Like, I want to say 48 to 50 feet.
Yeah, it was stupid big. I
think you could stand next to that.
You could stand
Yeah.
next to it.
If it was like sunning itself and you were in like, it was in marshy habitat, kind of raised out of the water, sunning, and you were on dry land, probably you could get away with that.
Oh, good point, Evie. They say, me personally, I would just tell the disease-carrying organism to stop. That should work.
Mm-hmm.
I will be honest. There are few things that I kill on site. Mosquitoes are one of them. Deer flies are one of them. Ticks are one of them. But again, it's only going to be like disease vectors that are actively like attacking me, right? Like I'm not going to like go out and seek out ticks and destroy them. But if they are on me, yeah, I'm going to kill them.
A couple people have pointed out giant water bugs make it up to Canada. They get them in Western New York. I don't think that the problem is the water bugs. I think the problem is me. I have never found one here. We unfortunately live in like the southeast corner of Pennsylvania, which is by and large the least biodiverse part of the entire state. So things that like we went to school in Ohio. So things that if we were in Western Pennsylvania or even in Ohio would be relatively easy to find are not even found here anymore. Like they're completely extirpated, which is a local extinction, or they never ranged here at all. Like we just have so much diversity that's present in the central and western parts of our state that we have to drive a few hours to get to. So on a day-to-day basis when we're working, it's tough to get out and see them. But I think they're definitely here. We just need to get to the right spot at the right time.
For me, I'm lucky because in central North Carolina, it's still relatively undeveloped by American standards. So within 2 miles of my house, I see stuff. In my yard, I see stuff. They were the first time they visited, they were like, dude, your yard is weirdly biodiverse. And I'm like,
it is.
That's where the name came from. But Norman, would you go swimming with orcas? Absolutely.
We were this close in the Galapagos. If it weren't highly illegal and frowned upon, we would have been in there. We had orcas cross right under our boat. I would say as far as like specific interactions that you could have with an animal, free diving with an orca may be one of the most nerve-wracking experiences for me. Like it's definitely on my bucket list, probably top 3 just animal encounters I want to have in general, but I will be bricking it the entire time. That is going to be really intimidating because not only are orcas intelligent enough to recognize what species you are, it's up to their whim at the point where you're in the water with them. If you leave the water, it's like, are they hungry? Do they like you? Like they are
ever eaten people?
Eaten, no. Attacked, yes. Sunk cruise ship or not cruise, true. Sunk yachts, yes. Did they deserve
actually predating people?
No, I've never heard of like active ongoing predation, but if they wanted to, nothing's going to stop the biggest dolphin in the ocean.
Yep.
What's the rarest or strangest? I have an answer for this. The strangest creature you've encountered in the field? I think it was one velvet worm.
Velvet
We
worms.
found it
So,
together. in
that's a
Ecuador.
great thing. So actually, the velvet worms we filmed. I didn't know this because I released it way ahead of time. They were trying to get a species ID on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they reached out to like a foremost expert on velvet worms for Central and South America.
Central and South America. He's based in southern Brazil, and the name of this doctor is escaping me at the moment.
Dr. Oliveira.
Oliveira, thank you. He's from São Paulo in Brazil, and he pointed out that we had the genus right. Oroperipotis is the genus that we thought it was at the time, but what we didn't realize is that no Oroperipotis velvet worms have ever been collected from that region
or described,
and they're so localized because velvet worms are so sensitive that they have essentially no capability to move over large distances, that he thinks it's incredibly likely that that was a new species, completely undescribed to science. So now we need to go back and name the Kenobi velvet worm.
Yep.
Oroperipotis canobii. Hopefully one day. What was it? What's your favorite Australian snake?
There are so many good options.
Colette snake. Someone shouted out Pseudechis coleti earlier. Colette snake. They're a black snake species that when they grow to full size will get like bright red. They're gorgeous. Or king browns. King browns are dope.
I was going to say Oxyuranus microlepidotus, inland taipan.
Yeah, I was going to
cool
say
snake.
one of the taipans. I also love tiger snakes.
They're
always wanted to
Tigers
see a
are
tiger
cool.
snake.
There are a bunch of different tigers out there.
Mhm.
Tiger snakes.
Let's see. What did the...
Some things aren't seen to the human eye because we can't comprehend it. Won't be able to... Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite environment to explore?
Huh.
So far, to explore, I would have to say the cloud forest in Ecuador. So
Yeah.
far that I've been
Cloud
to
forest.
so far.
Cloud forest is awesome. Lowland rainforest, when we've hit lowland rainforests in Costa Rica, are exceptional. But a lifelong favorite of mine are salt marshes.
Salt marsh,
actually.
yep. I was going to say that.
So underrated. I feel like there are few people who are consistently doing really good content about the wildlife of the salt marsh. And yet, if you live in the eastern United States, especially in the mid-Atlantic down through the South, you probably drive past salt marshes all the time if you spend time in coastal areas. And you'd never think that they're as biodiverse as they are, as we're hoping to finally show Spencer after years of talking about it. So yeah, salt marshes, super underrated. I love meadows and like open grassy habitats. But in terms of how much fun I have while exploring, it's hard to beat a rainforest.
Nicole Martin asks, can you tell me a fact about spiders? I think they are interesting. So I recently learned from Travis McHenry. So those of you who are new to the channel or are unfamiliar with Travis, look up The Spiders in Your House as a series. You'll find his channel. Great stuff. Super, super deep dive on spiders. So if you're fascinated by these animals, that is like the perfect channel for you. But I learned from him is that orb weavers actually use their webs to hear. And it has probably more precise hearing through that method than most other ears in the animal kingdom, just because of how the tension of the web is set up, that it can detect where things are coming from, and not just like in the web, like vibrations traveling through air. It can actually detect those, and it's thought that that's how they figure out how wide to make their capture spiral. They can hear the vibrations of insects' wings in the environment, see at what size insects.
That's crazy.
Right? So they can see how big the insects in the environment are, so they know, should I make a tight spiral for little insects or a big spiral for large insects?
Wow.
Which is insane.
I did not know that.
Insane.
That's really cool. I saw something else come in that was I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, how to get involved. Real quick before I answer that question, have you guys come across the two-step snake, which is a colloquial name for a bunch of different species that are said to be able to kill you within like 2 steps of where you were bitten? I think the fertile ants goes by that name sometimes. So we've all seen fertile ants in the wild, but that would be the only one that I think qualifies for that name. But Travis is probably the most knowledgeable about the nitty gritty of spiders. I would agree.
I would agree for sure.
How to get involved in conservation as a volunteer? Excellent question. My best piece of advice is look locally. The best way I think most people can realistically and sustainably make an impact on conservation, especially if you're not trying to spend tons of money, is look for local programs, because oftentimes that which you're closest to is the thing you can make the best impact on, because with conservation, consistency and long-term work is the most important by far. Habitat restoration, which takes a ton of time, is like the foundation of wildlife conservation, because you can breed as many spiders as you want, but if they have no habitat, can't really do anything with that. So yeah, get involved locally, reach out to natural history museums or nature centers. They usually have initiatives that are free for the public to join. And don't be afraid to do conservation of things that like aren't big ticket famous conservation projects like bald eagles or something like that. Invertebrates need our help, and frogs
way
need
more
our
than you
help.
think. Yeah.
And all these animals, especially insects, that
Insects
are
are in
so
trouble.
maligned and
They're in
so
trouble.
threatened. So even as simple as planting native vegetation in green spaces in your area, or planting native vegetation in your gardens instead of ornamental plants from around the world, does have a profound impact on invertebrate conservation, which is the foundation of ecosystem health in general. Usually your inverts are the first layer of animal activity in ecosystems, oftentimes, most times.
CC asks, have any symptoms from the red widow bite returned? Yeah, I'm in like terrible pain every single day. It's the worst, but it's not related to the red widow bite. It's just because of the existential dread of my life. No symptoms from the red widow. Thankfully, I got a very light envenomation, though I actually, great you asked that, because the whole Florida thing right now where these parks are going to be bulldozed, one of the parks in the crosshairs is actually where I was bitten by the red widow. So I might make an update video on the red widow bite and have that be a funnel to the petition to protect the parks. So people will probably be mad at me for clickbaiting because there are no effects, but it will get a lot of attention and people will be able to hopefully help protect the parks. And kind of what's crazy is we can actually save the spider that bit me, because she's probably still alive. They live for a few years, which is like kind of, in my opinion, almost like poetic a little bit. Like
definitely.
we can protect the spider that bit me
and do a service for it after it did such a great service as an advocate for its species. Trish is watching from New South Wales.
Yep, we're gonna be primarily in New South Wales this November for 3 weeks. I'm actually couch surfing with a buddy of my friend Jack, and that's why Jack has basically like helped make this trip possible. So I'm making sure to fly him out there with me. All the spots and stuff he was able to find. We basically were using his network and stuff to get guides who have permits to be able to work with reptiles and things.
Interesting question from John.
Where is it?
What does it mean when an orb weaver, sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah.
What does it mean when an orb weaver pulsates its web? Usually that's a defensive thing, I've noticed, is if we're getting too close, or especially if we like brush it, they'll like shake to make themselves harder to pick off. Because if you figure, they're quite visible to birds, to flying insects, to bats. So by shaking their web around like that, they can keep themselves safer and make themselves a harder target.
Prisma asks, what's you guys' favorite non-venomous Aussie snake?
What a great question.
I would say the boigas look pretty cool. I don't know if we'll be in range of those or not. Those are closer to like.
You should be able to get some tree snakes.
In New South Wales?
Not in New South Wales.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I also think some of those are venomous, actually.
Maybe mildly. They're not classified as like medically significant.
No, they're not highly. I would say diamond pythons for me.
Those are cool too.
There are just so many incredible pythons in Australia. But
Trish says, OMG, Jack is in Jack's World of Wildlife. The very same.
indeed.
Yep. He has a lot of good friends down there. So we were able to kind of create some networking. One of his guys is actually training to be a wildlife guide. So he has contacts. We're able to kind of, it was like one of those things where like a lot of pieces just fell into place. Which is going to be great because there are so many things down there I want to film. And I don't want to go down there and make a bad impression so that I can't come back, because it's such a big, amazing country. You can't hit it once and get everything unless you live there for like 2 years. And I don't have the budget to move there for 2 years. And I have a lot of people back home who I would miss and who would miss me. So
Mike S has a great comment.
Are there twins? Or am I super stoned?
We are twins.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Porque no, exactly.
Yeah.
3 diamond pythons. Cool. Oh, that's very sweet, Trish. She said I have a rehab center in my garage where I help injured spiders recover. That's super cool. Meet and greet. Yeah, you should do a meet and greet.
You know, that'd be a great idea with Jackson too. We might see the biggest thing with that. I want to do more of those. The problem is right now with like the stage that we're all at in our growth is when we're on these trips, it's like, it's production. We're hitting like, we're out every single day for like sun up to sundown. Like I would say I pull, I mean, especially on like a high yield production trip like Australia, I'll probably pull 100-hour weeks for the whole time I'm there.
I bet.
So it's if we can squeeze one in, absolutely. But that might be something that we'll probably look at doing once our platforms are a bit bigger and we don't need to kind of kill ourselves on production trips as much as we do in our current phase.
Mr.
Sense heading out. Well, good seeing you. Glad to have you on. Who else? Number one, reptile enthusiast. Thank you for the information on how to study insects. Hey, that's the fun part. I love like sharing that because like as a kid, I would say that the 2 things that I wanted to be most were entomologist and marine biologist. And so far, I've basically gotten to be an entomologist as my career.
There you go. That reminds me, actually, someone asked, do you have plans to film more marine things like lionfish and fireworms?
Yes, I do. Which is funny because so we're actually going
2 days from now.
2 days from now, we're going to go look for horseshoe crabs and sea spiders and a bunch of other like marine arthropods. And then in Australia, one of our biggest targets is the blue-ringed octopus. I guess technically the species will be in range of is the blue-lined octopus, but same difference. Which would be crazy is my first cephalopod in the wild may well be the blue-ringed octopus.
That would be crazy.
Which would be freaking legendary. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can actually pull one off. But definitely going to be doing a lot of tide pools for a couple of days, but like outside of Sydney, I think is the goal. If you have ever just finished a drawing, share it in the Discord. I want to see.
Be careful with those blue rings. We want to see you come back to the States alive.
Yes, I do not plan on handling the blue ring, mostly because I don't think they will bite, but the thing is their bite is painless and the toxin is lethal very quickly. And it's hard to know if you were bitten. So I would rather just keep it. We're going to have little like acrylic containers to kind of present it in. We'll get some good like macro lenses for the GoPro. I might even get an underwater housing for this to get some shots in the tide pool. But we're not going to take any unnecessary risks with the octopus.
Octopodes or octopuses can be so unpredictable. We've worked with a few in captivity and spent some time with them in the wild as well. And they're one of my absolute favorite animals to encounter because they are as intelligent as a human child. The cognitive capacity of some octopus species has been clocked at about equivalent to a 4 or 5-year-old, which is absolutely insane, which means encounters demand a whole new level of respect, like respect in the truest sense for this animal as an individual. So I want to do a lot more videos with them. We unfortunately don't have great cephalopod diversity like immediately around here. I've never seen one in Jersey. Florida has good cephalopods. Yeah. But like for this week, we'll be dealing with the marvels of evolution that are crabs.
So Trish said first, seriously, you and Jack are very popular here. I would imagine I could see that. We handle a lot of crazy stuff. I think for Australians, they find it very entertaining that these random American dudes are doing that. So I'm excited to actually work with some of the Aussie wildlife and just see how it acts.
See you, King Charizard. Thanks for joining.
Later, King Charizard.
Yep,
Actually,
take
before he
care.
heads off, he said, I think he asked, it was King Charizard.
Oh, when will be your next live
so
stream?
great question before you head off for the live streams. So I mentioned earlier in the stream that I'm doing 2 videos a month right now to kind of keep myself sane, to kind of keep the videos higher quality. I'm going to try, I can't promise yet, but I'm going to try on the weeks where I don't upload a new video, I'm going to try and live stream. So my next one, I might actually try and do next Saturday as well.
Nice.
Not sure what the topic will be yet. I'm going to work on that, and we'll see if I have time, if I've finished all my projects. But my goal is to, on as many of the off weeks as possible, hop on a stream. We can talk about different wildlife topics, do some Q&A, do some hanging out, probably go on tangents like we're doing right now. But that is the goal. So I want to be streaming a lot more frequently and doing like some like biologist explains type talks, talking about future projects and things, getting you guys in the loop about, what's going on the channel besides the videos that you see. So hopefully we'll be able to do more of these very soon. Let's see. I saw a bunch of things. Jellyfish or a video on jellyfish and other related creatures. Yes. I don't think we're going to be in range of box jellyfish this time. But when I tell you, you see how much I love spiders. If I would say spiders are here on my list of favorites in general, orthopterans and phasmids are like here. Jellyfish are like way up here.
Really?
I freaking love those
Don't
things.
even know if I knew that.
I did not know
They
that.
are so like they look like freaking aliens. I don't
Might
know.
as well be.
I don't know nearly enough about them compared to what I would like to know about them, but they are so freaking cool.
That's that
Like-
you just described science as a whole.
Like
we
my-
know so little
My
about
favorite
jellyfish.
thing as a kid was to go to the aquarium and just get lost in the jellyfish section because they're just like, I can't believe it's a real animal, right? So once I have the ability to do so, you can bet I will be filming jellyfish, right? But the biggest thing is a lot of marine stuff. It's tough to do it well. So I want to make sure I can do it well. And I want to get some practice in the field filming stuff like that before I can release it here. But rest assured, in the next couple of years, it'll happen.
Really good suggestion from Ichthya Venator. You should visit one of those lakes filled with
Yes,
jellies. For those who
yes.
don't know, there are a few lakes, particularly some big ones in Southeast Asia. Like I know the Philippines has a few where they're freshwater, or at least enclosed. They don't have ocean access, and they have jellyfish. But little known fact, Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world in Russia, has not only its own seal, but 3, I think, different species of freshwater jellyfish, which is bizarre to me. But yeah, no, jellyfish.
There are also freshwater jellies here. I don't think they're native. They got introduced from somewhere.
Did they really?
Yeah, they're
That's
here.
Crazy.
They're here. They're not.
I've seen them in like estuaries of the Chesapeake Bay, but that's as
Yeah.
far into
They're-
freshwater as
They're
I've seen
not
them
big,
here.
but there's actually a freshwater, I want to say stream jelly. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But they're definitely here. I don't think they're native. That's another one of those animals I've known about since I started the channel, but haven't been able to find. But I will be looking for those probably next year. Even I might see if I can find them.
Irukandji jellyfish. Be careful about those.
Okay, dude, freaking Irokon. So some people may or may not know I'm working on a science fiction book. One of the like starfighter types in that world I actually named after the Irukandji because of how cool those things are. It's like a super lethal starfighter. But that's another tangent for another time.
That's sick.
Some
Species are huge. What's the smartest species of spider? We talked about this earlier.
So earlier on the stream, I think it was before you hopped on, we were talking about Portia. It's a type of jumping spider from Southeast Asia and Northwest Australia. And it looks kind of like a lichen camouflage jumping spider, but they are specialist spider hunters that can problem solve. They can think in 3D. They can learn. There's some evidence that they can recognize human faces. All kinds of crazy stuff. They are ridiculous. And I hope to film them one day. I don't think we're going to be in range of them this Australia trip, but
that would be awesome.
But one day I will be filming Portia.
What do y'all think of nudibranchs, sea slugs? I love
So cool.
nudibranchs.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
Probably some of the greatest diversity of colors and shapes that you can see in any one group of animals are nudibranchs. You
What's
could
crazy,
look at 100 species and never see the same color twice
the
if you pick the right ones.
the first time I ever saw a slug caterpillar in the wild, I thought it was a nudibranch. I'm like, what the heck is this doing on land next to my creek in my backyard? But since then I've learned it's a caterpillar. But it was so crazy to see some of these things, like the colors, the shapes that they have. They just don't look real. And I think that's one of my favorite things about most of the marine wildlife is it doesn't look real. Let's see. I can't wait for the jellyfish video. We have 5 minutes before dinner call, and then we're gonna be heading out to go film False Widows tonight.
Oh yeah,
but,
good shout on Portuguese man of war.
Yeah, Portuguese man of war, which is technically not a jellyfish.
Not a jellyfish.
It's a colonial. What is the group called?
Oh man,
I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, they're not jellyfish.
related. They're related.
The parts of them are called zooids. I can't remember what the group that contains Portuguese men of war is, but yeah, no, Portuguese men of war are like 4 different specialized organisms that form a colony, kind of like coral. They're like a soft, free-floating coralline organism.
Number 1 reptile enthusiast, Spencer, what is the best way to find wolf spiders? Go out at night in a grassy area, have a flashlight, hold it right by your eye, and just move your head. If you see things reflecting back at you, those are the eyes of wolf spiders. That is like the easiest cheat code way to find wolf spiders. You'd be surprised how big some of them could be. Because
Siphonophore, that's it.
Siphonophore,
They
okay.
are among the siphonophores, I think.
Johan, he came up. Just got back from the Kentucky Reptile Zoo, and nobody knew you. I didn't ask. Johan's great. He has some of the best comments, I think. They're just so like snarky.
I love it.
He's also an OG. He's been on the channel since forever. Let's see. Thank you. Yeah. Good luck. Find some cool wolf spiders. You'll be surprised again, like how big some of them might be.
Yeah. Shine at night.
Ian asked, what species of false widows are we looking for?
So we have what we think is Borealis, basically on the side of the house here, and hopefully some Triangulosa.
That would be ideal if we could get an invasive species like Steatoda triangulosa, the triangulate cobweb.
If we can find a nobilis, I will do a bite test.
Yeah, Steatoda nobilis, the noble false widow, is considered one of the most dangerous spiders in Europe, actually. And we aren't sure. We've seen some large ones that could be nobilis. I think it's much more likely that we have Steatoda borealis, the northern false widow, which is a native species here in the United States. So yeah, I think likely borealis and then hopefully triangulosa. But if we could pull out a nobilis or a grossa, that would be pretty awesome.
Quick question from Ichthyovenator: would the wolf spider technique work in a neighborhood park type setting? That is the perfect place to try it. And again, that's why I would say you'll be surprised how many large wolf spiders can live right by you, even if you don't think you live in a wolf spider friendly area. They're everywhere. They're one of the most successful spiders besides jumping spiders. So
Mike S got some brown widows my way. That's cool.
Brown widows are also really cool. I don't know if I really want to take another Latrodectus bite of any kind personally, but Steatoda, I'm curious about both nobilis and grossa. Those are two. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Go.
Right at the end of the stream. Jackson, we were just talking about you and helping me handle the funnel webs eventually, potentially in Australia. Oh, he comes right at the end. Poor guy.
I guess you'll have to go visit him or something.
Yeah, I have to visit you like
we
in November.
pulled the same thing with Zach Cole's live stream.
Yeah.
Like the last maybe 10 minutes with him and Jenna.
Because we're about to head out because we have to get some dinner and then head back to filming. Hopefully I have battery.
We can.
Yeah, I got battery. We're
yeah,
good.
if you want to
We could charge. Yeah.
Is Spider ID good? I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I usually use iNaturalist, or I usually will study a lot of the ID beforehand, so I kind of know what I'm looking at, or I know at least in the ballpark of what I'm looking at when I catch it, and then I can kind of get a photo, get some Wi-Fi or service, and quickly ID it before I present a segment or something, just to be sure that I know what I've got.
I used your white sheet with a light on it trick. It's awesome. Potato
you set up a light trap.
Light traps
Very
are fun.
cool.
Trish
Nobilis are fairly
handling
easy to
funnel
handle.
webs. Potentially. I don't know if it's possible to do, but if it is possible, I would like to try it. mostly because, again, I think while I wouldn't encourage most people to replicate some of the things I do in my videos, I think safely and not irresponsibly handling a funnel web spider sends a very powerful message about whether spiders are actually monsters. And Jackson here, Bugs in Biology, is probably one of the best people I know in terms of experience studying funnel webs in captivity and the wild. So I'm going to hopefully see if we can get a female to cooperate. Male, I would be a little scared, but we'll see.
Oh,
you got big guns, man.
Yeah, Jackson's timing is on point.
Yes. So Mike, this is Evan and this is Harrison from the YouTube channel The Wildlife Brothers. I'm actually collabing with them for this little, not quite a full week, but we're just going to be up in Pennsylvania and New Jersey getting some cool creepy crawlies for you. But with that, we actually do have to head out for dinner. And we're going to be filming some false widows and stuff tonight. Maybe some woodlouse spiders if we get lucky.
Hopefully.
Literally doing this stream in the middle of a production trip. So
Yep.
we will see you guys in the future videos. Yes, they do have a channel about animals. It's called The Wildlife Brothers. They're actually featured in a few of my videos, especially for the ones from Ecuador. But you'll probably be seeing them soon in future projects if we have success. So
yeah.
Thanks everyone for showing up, for hanging out with us for a little bit. Great questions today. Great suggestions for the Australia trip. I will see if I can get a stream going again next Saturday. And because again, we're the next upload, the next new video will be September 7th. We're doing first and third Saturday of every month, just while I kind of get my backlog built back up and some better concepts. But if I don't see you before then, as always, don't forget to get outside
and find your own adventure.